New York City, home to some of Earth's mightiest heroes. On a day like today, the sun blazes down between towers of steel and glass. The streets pulse with life, and everything feels normal. But in this city, normal is just the calm before something incredible. Somewhere from beyond, something ancient stirs. And when it rips through the fabric of the multiverse, the only question that matters is, are these heroes mighty enough?
So, who did you say this soul-swindling charlatan was? We don't have any government on this guy, but he goes by the name Back Alley Jack. And why is he called that? Well, let me present to you Exhibit A, a back alley. There's no originality these days, says the sorcerer who goes by Dr. Strange. Well, it is my name, and I am a doctor. Shall we? I take it you're Back Alley Jack?
Well, I ain't under the bridge any. Who's asking?
My name is Jennifer Walters, attorney at law. This is my consultant, Dr. Strange. I'm here to discuss your contract with one of my clients. You agreed to provide an autographed baseball signed by Babe Ruth in exchange for my client's soul. However, the ball you produced was in terrible condition, stained and damaged to mere worthlessness, and the autograph was barely legible.
Who did you say your client was?
I didn't. My client is Mr. Lang, first name Scott.
Oh yeah, that guy. He said he wanted a signed baseball by Babe Ruth, just like the one from that movie, Sandbox. Well, that's what he got. That chewed up ball signed by Babe Ruth from the movie.
Regardless, New York state law is quite clear that no contract covering illegal activities is binding. The transaction involving my client's soul is essentially human trafficking, and thus illegal. The contract is not enforceable.
Ugh, lawyers. You think that mumbo jumbo's gonna work with me? Tell you what, I'll offer you a deal. You win a game of 3-card Monty, and I'll give up the contract on your client's soul. But if I win, I get one of your souls.
Absolutely not. I accept your terms. What?
I like your spunk, stranger. Alright, let's play.
But first, let's level the playing field, shall we? And reveal that neither of us have anything up our sleeves.
While activating the Eye of Agamotto, Dr. Strange cast a spell to reveal all illusions.
Just as I thought. A minor demon from the filth dimension.
Bah, whatever. This doesn't change a thing. I'm as honest as they come.
And from where you come from, that doesn't say very much.
The minor demon from the filth dimension conjures a card table already set for a game. Now pay attention, Mr. Peculiar. You gotta find my card, the Ace of Spades. Now, watch my hands. Ha! Which one is it? Choose carefully, or your sorcerer's soul is mine.
The one in the middle is your card. Allow me to reveal the 2 cards at the end that are not the ace. Therefore, the one in the middle must certainly be.
Wait, you can't do that. I said pick a card, not 2.
Actually, you said find a card, not pick a card. His move was fair by your rules.
No, you cheated.
In games such as these, the winner is often the one who cheats the best. Now rescind the contract, and if you don't mind, leave my city, or I'll have to shut you down permanently.
Fine. The soul wasn't worth much anyways. I got better places to be.
I knew I chose the right consultant for this job. So, how do you sorcerers prefer payment? In gold coins, various rough-cut gems? No, that won't be necessary. My services are, I believe the term is, pro bono. Now, I trust that concludes our business in this foul-smelling alley.
Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of Action Dice, where we are once again playing Marvel Multiverse RPG, where we take you to where the action is. My name is Paste and I will be your humble narrator for this one-shot encounter, but I can't do it alone, so with me as always is my multiversal counterpart, Copy.
That's right. Wait, am I the variant or are you the variant?
I think it works both ways.
Well, that's right. Thank you very much. And I am very excited to be playing the Sorcerer Supreme, Dr. Stephen Strange, master of the mystical arts.
If there's something strange in your neighborhood, don't worry. This doctor does house calls.
And he'll be joined by the sensational Gamma Girl with a gavel, Jennifer Walters, aka the She-Hulk.
Whether battling in the courtroom or on the streets, she is definitely the strong arm of the law.
And with that, let's roll some dice. Ready?
Set. Action.
So, Stephen Strange has just opened up a portal in front of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
That's right.
On Bleecker Street here, and he is emerging with She-Hulk, and they just wrapped up in the back alley there with Back Alley Jack, aptly named. Yeah, let's have you take it away.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Doctor Strange just opened up the portal, and as they step out, She-Hulk's been talking to him, and they're sort of mid-conversation, and she's. I'm just saying, it's called Magic the Gathering. It's like your whole thing, and they didn't even consider giving you a card. I mean, even Deadpool got a card. It's just a missed opportunity, if you ask me. Maybe it's just your PR thing. And then Stephen Strange is like, my PR is fine. It's, wizards. They just don't get along with sorcerers. Did they give Spider-Man a card? And then She-Hulk turns to Doctor Strange and says, oh, honey, puts a hand on her shoulder. He gets a whole set. Anyway, so Doctor Strange is just like, okay, would you like to come in for a cup of tea? Maybe get a bite to eat? And She-Hulk's like, oh, wow, a date with the Sorcerer Supreme? Just kidding. Actually, I do have to get back to the office, but maybe next time.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she hails down a taxi cab or calls an Uber, and Doctor Strange is about to, I guess, part ways.
Well, yeah, you think that, but before that happens, actually, as she's saying she just get to hail a cab or get an Uber, it's at that exact time you hear a loud thunder crack, but no flash of lightning. And looking up at the skies, you see absolutely no dark clouds at all. The sound, however, came from just a few blocks up the street. People are starting to yell and shout, and car horns are starting to blare off. But the most jarring thing of all is that this massive purple fog starts billowing out like purple smoke from an explosion, and starts roiling down the street towards you and She-Hulk. And within just a matter of seconds, it seems to envelop the entire block here. And as it roils over you, you feel like a little bit of a static charge, like the hairs in the back of your neck are standing up and then the back of your forearms, and it almost completely blacks out your vision. You can barely see within like a foot in front of you. You can barely see She-Hulk or She-Hulk vice versa. You can barely see Stephen Strange.
Oh, wow.
For just a few seconds. And as that thick fog starts to thin a little bit, the shouting you heard from the citizens are mostly starting to fade away now. And you start to realize that although these familiar street corners are similar, but are now distinctly different in peculiar ways.
Right.
In game terms, you can only see about maybe 10 spaces in front of you before it becomes like a purple opaque wall. Within like the 8 to 9 to 10 range, it's kind of like you can still like see something there, but it's very kind of blurry. It's very more silhouetted than anything else. As you're starting to regain your senses and the streets are becoming visible again, how do you think Stephen Strange or She-Hulk might react at this time?
Yeah, well, definitely with concern. So taking a look around, though, like you can only see a certain distance. I think the first thing he'd do is try to move into the sort of the street to see if he could see anything else, and then maybe using his cloak of levitation, he'd probably start to fly up as well, just to see how, if he can get high enough, he can see where it's been rolling in from. She-Hulk would, still being able to see Strange, if they're still within close proximity, they would have been in a couple feet of each other before they departed. She-Hulk would be, of course, on edge as well, taking a look around, see if there's anything that she's in danger or if anyone else is in danger. And then probably look at Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange, and say, hey, Doc, I think I still need to keep you on retainer here. This seems to be more of your area of expertise. What the heck is going on here?
Right. As you're saying, if Doctor Strange does want to start to fly up, he would have to get a couple hundred feet up into the sky before he starts actually seeing or can clear the fog. But like the higher up he goes, within like maybe 20, 30 feet, it goes completely opaque again. Like the purple fog takes over and you can't see within like a few feet within him. So it'd be like flying up, straight up blind. But if he was to keep going up and up and up, it would take him about 100 to 300 feet into the sky before he kind of cleared this fog. And you can see it's just rapidly kind of taking over the entire city. And it's spreading out very...
tendrils of smoke.
Tendrils of smoke, yeah. But you can kind of see that the epicenter, or the center of where the smoke seems to be billowing out from, is literally only just a few blocks up, conveniently enough, from where you and She-Hulk are presently.
I think with that, he would then go back down and try to get as close to the same location as he was to try to locate She-Hulk as well.
Okay. So you'd fly back down.
So now that he's got that aerial,
kind of more or less go straight up.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to probably like...
Yeah, so he's sort of in the middle of the street. Yeah, that makes sense.
Fair enough.
And She-Hulk would sort of move in to sort of flank him and sort of confirm. Did you see anything? Like, where's this all coming from? And I guess Dr. Strange would report back to her and say, it seems to be originating a few blocks up the street.
Okay, perfect. So question for She-Hulk though. If she feels like there might be danger ahead of them or something that she might have to deal with, do you think she would be fighting in her work clothing, or does she bring a certain special attire?
I mean, at this point in time, if she feels this dangers in the area, she's probably going to kick off her high heels and open up her briefcase, and she'll get these battle-ready sneakers that are a few sizes too large for her current feet. As she does that, she's just going to really start to kind of Hulk out and increase her size and mass and musculature to a point where underneath of her business blouse and her business jacket, you'll see her superhero outfit, uniform underneath, sort of. And as she just sort of tears away her work uniform, out comes her other work uniform. Also, using the Eye of Agamotto might give him some more clarity. So this spectral third eye, which is sort of appear over his forehead again, and just try to get a sense, maybe if he can't see visually with his regular vision up to 10 or 15, 20 feet, he's hoping that maybe he can get some extra vision through the Eye of Agamotto as he tries to cut through this magical fog.
So we're going to do, it's interesting, because it's a bit of a vigilance check, but also you're checking to see if more of this fog is magical, not just you want to see where this fog is. I mean, because you can kind of...
Definitely wants to get a sense, detect magic.
Detect magic, okay. He wants to see if this is feeling more, this entity is of a magical nature, and so he's shooting out with the Eye of Agamotto and his knowledge and his arcane senses.
Yeah.
Give me a roll.
Okay.
This one's going to be an ego check. I'm going to set this target number at a 16.
Okay. So we've got 10 on the dice. That's a 4 on the Marvel if it counts. And because you said ego, he gets a plus 12. Yep. So that's a 22.
Awesome. Yeah, I figured this would be not even a challenge for the Sorcerer Supreme.
So with a 22, does he get a sense of...
You're not going to find too much of that within this fog. You do detect something, obviously, again, closer to a few blocks up in the center of the street. There is definitely
it's getting stronger
in your magic senses. But this cloud itself isn't caused by magic. It seems to be more of a different type of entity that's enveloping this entire area. This is very much giving Alagoth vibe, but I'm going to say at this time he doesn't seem familiar with this essence, with this fog that seems to be emanating all over the place.
It's more of a physical fog than a magical fog. Like
correct, yeah. It's not giving
an actual
magical
physical cloud.
Yeah. How about She-Hulk gives us a vigilance check?
Yeah. All right, well, let's see what she sees.
What's going on around here?
Oh gosh, with that roll, she couldn't even see her own shoes.
Oh no.
3 with her vigilance, so we got a total of 8.
I was going to set this one kind of fairly low, but I was aiming for like around the 12 mark. I thought as a rank 4 character, I thought
she's supposed to be vigilant.
Okay, well, hey, it is. Yeah.
Like crap.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I literally almost rolled the worst you could possibly roll.
Just to kind of like get the lay of the land and kind of like get a sense of what's happening. And as she's trying to look around here, I guess she's not super familiar with Bleaker as familiar as Dr. Strange would be, this being his home turf, this being his she's street.
Yep. So at this time, She-Hulk is just going to defer to Dr. Strange because it's his neighborhood and seems to be his area of expertise if this is indeed magical or seems to be maybe being caused by a magical source. She's going to just look at Dr. Strange and say, hey, Doc, what's our move here?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so unfortunately, her vigilance check didn't quite reveal anything, but she defers to Doctor Strange. And I was going to say, as they start taking a look around, She-Hulk doesn't see much through that thick fog, and even though it's thinned a little bit around the corners, and you can kind of see the street corners a little bit clearer now, with at least some tent spaces all around. She doesn't quite notice the peculiarities that seem to be creeping up in the area, but Stephen Strange, being very familiar with this area, does. We'll roll it into having his Eye of Agamotto open as well too, so you can see it just a little bit clearer through this, or you'll get like an extra sense of what's happening here, and you will notice that although it's not really magical, the eye can do more than just detect magical things, right? It's going to help him see a little bit clearly here, but what he is going to pick up on is that the normal familiar street corners of Bleecker Street, although look similar to what they looked like just before this fog rolled in, but do now have some peculiar little changes. For instance, one of the street corners has become completely overgrown by foliage, and trees seem to be sprouting just all over the place, or have looked like they've been there for dozens and dozens of years. Like they've just set in. The asphalt has been all ripped up by the roots, and the mossy leaves that have fallen down and mulched the ground seems to be laying like a green moist carpet all over the place. And the buildings next to it have tree branches broken through some of the buildings, the familiar buildings that used to be there, but now it's again completely overgrown. And as he's kind of looking over here, you kind of sees like little flashes and flits of purple lightning to kind of indicate that there might be some sort of weird rip or tear kind of happening in the physical space right here that has kind of let almost an alternate reality or a different multiverse, if you will, kind of reveal and appear itself in the same location of where, a normal street intersection had been. So Stephen Strange notices that on his left, and then he looks over to his right. If you wanted to, would you be moving up the street a little bit, do you think, to get a better advantage or maybe investigation?
He'll say, She-Hulk, stay close. Yeah. And then he'll start moving up.
Just a little bit. We don't want to go too far up as well, mostly because of the camera. But like I say, at this point here, you would be able to see within range. Some of these pedestrians now have kind of scampered off to the street. By the way, these guys would be at this point
duck inside a building.
Maybe one of these guys, actually, you'd see that these civilians, when they kind of run into this area as well too, their clothes actually would change and warp just a little bit. Their hair would get a little more frazzled and dirty, and they have twigs and sticks kind of sticking out of it. Their clothes would be all tattered and shredded, and some of them patchwork with some as if they'd made their own clothing out of the foliage of the landscape around here, and they almost become a little bit more muscular, as if they've been living in these trees and kind of Tarzan style, swinging vine to vine. And even this guy, as he's running, he drops the cane and that just kind of jumps on a tree branch and starts leaping away. Steven sees all that, and he moves a little bit closer to this corner over here. You see the same shops that were there before, but now all the windows are kind of blown out, and it seems they are now a little more decrepit, and the walls are cracked, and some of them are crumbling and falling down, and the buildings definitely don't look like they're serviceable anymore, and looks like they have not been that way for a few years. You also hear in the distance a sound of heavy robotic feet kind of clunking down on the ground as if they're marching or in a patrol, and the whining and the gearing sound of giant 30 to 40 foot robots as they're scanning the areas for mutants. And the civilians that you see that were occupying or close to this space that seem to be running in a panic down the street without really noticing what's happening here, as they kind of enter into the space, these purple lightning flashes kind of click and clack as they are entering through a tear or a rip, and their clothes and their visage kind of changes slightly as well too. So now their attire becomes a little bit more shambled and shattered and ripped, and they kind of have maybe a bandana around their head or something like that, or maybe a patch over their eye, and they have some plasma weapon or something. They look like they're some sort of mercenary or a person who's been in it. And as they see these sentinels, they go "Sentinels, run!" And they quickly scurry off into the back corner of one of those behind a building here to try to get out of their view of the sentinel there. But the sentinel does not seem to be detecting you or picking up She-Hulk or anything like that. Okay. But just kind of seems to be there in his own little multiverse.
And so Doctor Strange gets a sense of that. He can see that, right? From this distance.
And so you need to point out to She-Hulk, and she can see it as well too. It is visible.
Okay, so it is in the street.
It is happening in the street. Yeah, it seems like this is actually a different multiverse that's kind of bleeding through into this multiverse, and these rips and these tears that they're seeing through the veil of this fog are kind of giving them a glimpse or a look at this multiverse overlaid on their multiverse, if you will.
And this is obviously Strange getting a sense of this, like he's understanding. So he'll turn to She-Hulk and say, "I'm detecting some rifts in the multiverse. There's definitely some tears being torn open in this area." And she's looking, yeah, I get you. It's like a glitch in the Matrix or something, right? To paraphrase, yes. And so he's just like, we have to figure out the source of this. We have to figure out what's causing this and shut it down before it takes over our universe.
With all this revealed, what does Strange and She-Hulk do?
Great question. Yeah, so I think Doctor Strange is going to make sure that She-Hulk's sort of staying within range so they can still see each other and communicate. And I think what he's going to say is we have to move forward toward the catalyst of this catastrophe. Any civilians we find on the way should be sent back to the Sanctum Sanctorum. It's warded against these multiversal intrusions. And then She-Hulk's going to be like, guess I'm going to be late for my 4 p.m. That's fine. The meeting probably could just been an email anyways. Yeah, they'll just start moving towards, I think he's indicated that there was sort of an epicenter of where the fog was emanating from. So if that's up the street as he saw, that's where he'd be heading.
Correct. All right. So excellent. So just as Doctor Strange and She-Hulk then are going to head out and complete your streak, I'd imagine like cautiously, obviously, because you can again, it's pretty thick fog in front
I
of
want to indicate that She-Hulk will just sort of be like, well, just wait a second now, and she'll be looking over towards that mechanical sentinel that they saw over there, and she'll be looking towards the foliage that just sort of popped up, and all these savage people just running around in the area. She's like, what do we do about these rifts? Should we not do something about that sentinel over there? And Doctor Strange will probably be thinking along the lines of, if we shut down what's causing these rifts, those multiverses will go back to their, will leave our area. So, they probably want to stay focused. They do recognize that there's these things going on, but I think they want to stay more focused on what's causing it rather than actually dealing with that. Unless they see someone really in danger, then they'll interpose.
Yeah. So that would make sense. Yeah. That cool. Yeah, right on point. Excellent. So as Doctor Strange and She-Hulk are about to head up the street towards the epicenter here, they hear a more sleeker sound of boots, metallic boots, armored boots, I should say, clacking against the asphalt, and determined approach towards these guys. So at around the 10 square range of the maximum of your vision, it starts to see just the silhouette at first. And you also hear the sleek whirling sounds of mechanical gears and pistons. The typical sound of a Stark suit. An Iron Man suit, I should say. This suit is distinctly different in the fact that it's a little bit more patriotic than what Stark has been known to wear. It's clad in the blue and white and red stripes, and this big emblazed star right on the chest of his protective plate there, his chest plate. And you notice that when he's coming towards you, he seems to have like a sense of purpose and a no-nonsense sense of purpose as he raises two armored gauntlets towards you, palms straight up, and you hear the gauntlets charging up a little bit, and he's
Tony?
vocally, the man in the suit calls out, and he says, She-Hulk, Doctor Strange, I'm officially informing you that you are in both direct violation of the Superhuman Registration Act. Depower and stand down now. Any other actions taken will be considered hostile. I'm taking you both in to get registered one way or another. As you guys are familiar with Tony Stark, the voice that you hear, I'll give you this for free, doesn't sound like Stark at all. It has more of a military cadence to it, but the voice does sound familiar.
She-Hulk's going to stand up and just sort of address him like, what did you say we're in violation of? And when did we receive notice of this?
I'm notifying you now. Stand down, Jennifer Walters. Or is it She-Hulk? Who am I speaking with right now?
So she'll just look at this iron person and she'll be like, I don't know who you think you're addressing, but Jennifer Walters is She-Hulk, and she's all Gamma.
Awesome.
Strange though, Doctor Strange will sort of be trying to puzzle this out.
the eye of Agamotto is letting you know this is a real person. It's not an image. It's not. It's a multiversal form of Tony Stark. Is what he's wondering.
That's the impression that you're getting and you're seeing for free. If you want to maybe glean it more, you have to give me a it's be a more of a vigilance check. The Eye of Agamotto can do many things and probably will inform your vigilance checks too. But
so he's just going to address the iron person in the iron suit, and he's going to want to know. You seem to know who we are, but we need to know who you are if we're going to have any level of trust or communication in this situation. I think we could be allies here.
The voice behind the mask would say, I don't know what kind of games you're trying to play, Stephen Strange. You know who I am, but it's only fair that you see the face that is going to be bringing you in today. So when the faceplate of the helmet kind of flips up, you actually see a little more gaunt, a little more battle-hardened visage of Steve Rogers. It's actually in this version, and you're correct now, obviously, in assuming that is a multiversal version, but it's Steve Rogers in a Iron Man suit, a patriotic Iron Man suit nonetheless. He further says to Stephen Strange, keep your fingers where I can see them, Dr. Strange. And She-Hulk, I need you to de-Hulk right now. Yeah, so above board, and I'll let you know that he's writing in action right now. So anything that he sees as hostile, he's going to unload. And you can tell from even the look in his eyes, like he is not messing around. This version of Steve Rogers is a lot more no nonsense, maybe a little less Boy Scout. And he's all about the Registration Act, and he's going to be taking you guys in no matter what. When he lifted up the faceplate, he would have also given you his full name, rank, and serial number. You're dealing with Captain Rogers, better known as Iron Patriot.
Stephen Strange is going to be like, we don't have time for this. You want to see my hands? Here they are. And he's going to start casting the Crimson Bands of Sitarak, and he's just going to try to bind him up.
Awesome. We are going to see which one of us can get our shots off first. So we're going to have to roll for initiative.
Wow.
All right, so with initiative rolled, we actually have She-Hulk going first because she got a Marvel for initiative, so she'll be in the bonus round. She's the only one in the bonus round, so yeah, this will be her time to shine, I guess.
Yeah, well, once she saw those two squaring off showdown style, she's just like, boys, and she just jumps right up into the air, and with her mighty leap, she can easily clear 24 spaces, but she can only see.
Yeah, she can only see about 10 in front of her. Yeah, so she can basically just see.
So she aims to try to get right behind him, and then as she comes down, she's gonna do a She-Hulk smash right into his armor. She doesn't really want to hurt him, but she knows that the armor can take a punch, and she's just trying to put him down.
Fair enough. Yeah. So as she's just about ready to leap, and she kind of bends down and gets ready to launch up into herself into the air. Yeah. We're actually going to have the Iron Patriot use a reaction. This one is called Kill Zone, and basically the trigger for this is that an enemy in the character's line of sight starts to move.
Okay.
So it's going to cost us 15 focus to use that, and the character will make a ranged attack against the enemy. If it is successful, the enemy will take normal damage, and on fast success will take double damage. But either way, the character regains their reaction. Each target can be affected by this only once per round. So I can only do this to She-Hulk once per round. So here we go. This is a ranged attack. So what's She-Hulk agility defense number?
Not great. 13.
Okay. So here we go. Yeah, that is a 14 plus stuff. So I think we're going to basic attack, and now I'm sure she has damage reduction, right?
Yes, of 2. She has a damage reduction of 2.
Okay. So as she's leaping through the air, so she'll actually take 17 points of damage from this reactive attack called Kill Zone. So as she's leaping through the air, Steve Rogers' Iron Patriot unleashes with some of the Stark Tech weaponry. As she's flying through there, she's kind of tracking her and hitting her a few times as she's midair. She's not really deflecting very well because, again,
she's just floating through the air.
Yeah, pretty much. But she does still land down behind him. And she, as you said, she's going to do a smash?
Yeah, well, it was going to be a light smash, but now that she's pummeling her with these blasts, she's actually getting a little bit angrier.
Okay.
And we're going to pump a little bit more into this smash. 15 focus in total.
15 focus total, so that would end up being around 7 additional points because we half that.
Right. Okay.
Melee defense score is 15 though.
So we're 11, we're at 16 right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to use the edge on the Marvel. We got a 4.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, no, I guess we'll go back to 4. Does he have damage reduction?
He does. Yeah, his damage reduction is a -3. And you'll find out why as soon as she rings against this thing with her mighty gamma radiated fist.
So 5 times 4 is 20, plus the 7, plus the 5, plus 7, so we're at 32.
We're at 32 points of damage. Nice. That is strong. Now, as strong as she is, and what a powerful blow that is, she hears that telltale ring sound when she collides with the armor.
Yeah.
And she can instantly tell as soon as she's hit it, because she's probably gone up against Steve Rogers' iconic shield before. She knows that this armor is also some sort of vibranium composite, or iron vibranium composite, or even adamantium vibranium composite. But this thing is built like an iron tank.
Jeez.
So yeah, so it did absorb quite a bit of that blow. These American cheeks are also covered by vibranium.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. So that would bring us to Dr. Strange.
As advertised, he was already ready to launch the Crimson Bands of Sitarak.
Nice.
To try to bind him up and just quickly try to deal with whatever this is.
Makes sense.
This attack is, we make an ego check with an edge against the melee defense of the target in their line of sight. If the attack is successful, the Crimson Bands paralyze the target. On a fantastic success, he was also pinned. Breaking out of the Crimson Bands require a melee check of number 20.
Oh, it's 20 break free. Wow. Okay.
Okay, so here we go. So this will be a melee check. Good joke.
Yeah, your melee defense target number is 15.
So yeah, we nailed that already
Yeah.
by a lot. So with the edge, I'm just going to go Marvel fishing.
Yeah, sounds good.
So just a 6. But he will be paralyzed on this hit, and he's going to be bound by these Crimson Bands that just sort of wrap right around him and just try to pin those arms down to his side.
So I'm going to use, because my reaction was refunded with kill zone, so you're going to use the escape reaction. 20 is a hard number to break, so let's see if we're successful in that. Roll a couple 6s. I think we actually just break 21.
Yeah, 21.
The Iron Patriot is being surrounded by these Crimson Bands of Sitarak, but
right.
with the strength of the Super Soldier Serum, it's still inside the Steve Rogers, and the aid of a superior Stark armor, he's able to flex and bend and just break free, almost doing the impossible and smashing free of the Crimson Bands of Sitarak. Awesome. For me, not so
Yeah, Steven would be like, well, that doesn't normally happen. She-Hulk, smash!
And speaking of which, yeah, if Stephen Strange has nothing else left to do if he doesn't want to move.
Well, he'll probably get some altitude if we can. He will get a little bit closer, but he'll still be up.
So I'm gonna fly up a little bit closer.
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of be out of melee range. Well, I mean, it is the Iron Patriot. There is no out of melee range, but I guess he'll just sort of get some aerial advantage, the high ground.
Sure. As he starts going for the high ground and he does start moving, I've used one reaction to break free of the bands, and I'll use my other reaction to again use kill zone, and we'll try another agility attack against the Stephen Strange.
Gosh.
What's my target number? What's Stephen's agility? Defense.
Yeah, not great. 14.
Okay. So you're not gonna like this. I just got a Marvel on that Marvel die.
So his Eye of Agamotto is going to start glowing green, and he will use a thing called slow motion dodge against this is an agility attack.
You got it.
It's
Yeah.
a ranged agility attack, which does give the attack trouble.
Gives the attack trouble. Okay. So we roll the Marvel then as the I guess the Eye of Marvel is giving me a heads up.
Slowing
Multiple
down
versions of-
time, and he's just going to hopefully use that to be able to
it
dodge.
slows down time a little bit. Okay, so we kind of see these shots coming kind of like Matrix styles.
Absolutely.
Flexes out of the way there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a 3 then. So the Marvel got changed to a 3.
Still hits though, I imagine.
Yeah. So
So that
definitely gonna
hits.
hit. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he does have damage reduction 1.
Okay. So the cloak gives him
So cloak's just
general
as
magic
it's
protection.
blowing around him as he lifts up in the air. The cloak of levitation just sort of also just kind of wraps around him too, just to sort of give him that extra, give him that extra protection.
Magical items are almost indestructible. So yeah, so if the shots are going mostly into a magical item, I think awesome. So my agility again was ×5, so it'll be ×4.
Okay.
So Stephen Strange will also take 17 points of health damage.
17. Okay. Boy, this guy's more trouble than he's worth so far.
And then so then Stephen Strange will just say he's just kind of levitating a little bit higher up.
And he doesn't spend a reaction. Well, he spends a reaction, but he gets it right back.
He gets it right back, yeah. So technically he still has 1 reaction.
It is.
So if he's got nothing else now, it is She-Hulk's time to shine.
Yeah. Seeing that Doctor Strange try to unwrap him and trap him to sort of pin him down. I think She-Hulk's move right now, after feeling the ring in her knuckles, is just also to try to grab him and pin him as well, to try to do the same thing. Okay. So she's going to take a look at America's metal butt and just kind of just admire it just a little bit, and then just kind of grab for it as she's standing there. Like,
that's melee check against his melee defense.
Just to be a grab.
So give me a melee roll.
Come on, baby. Well, it's a 6, 5, and 3, so we're looking at 14 plus 5 is 19. Yeah.
All right. So similar to the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, and because we still have a reaction left because Killzone's overpowered, we're going to also try to break free.
So he's going to use his
grab.
Last
reaction. Yeah. There we go. For this entire round, this will be the last one he's got. Not amazing. Now I got to be able to beat her melee defense.
Well, it's a 14.
Okay. So unfortunately,
well, hold on. She's going to roll a karma on that one.
Okay.
We just don't have time for this.
All right.
So you have to re-roll that.
My highest then would be a 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to re-roll that down to a 3. So that may have done it. Let's see, 6, 12, 13.
Okay. No, she's 14.
Okay, she's a 14.
Okay. So we finally do it? All right.
So the Crimson Bands of Sidorak weren't able to do it, but the gamma irradiated jade steel arms of She-Hulk does.
Perfect. Because then she's going to use her reaction to do a quick toss.
Okay.
I'm not going to throw him at a target other than maybe just toss him towards, I don't know.
If you're having trouble picking a target, maybe I'll give you an idea here, because as this is all going down, we do kind of notice this Sentinel maybe kind of stomping towards the center here, and you actually do see a better glimpse of this giant Sentinel who is taking stock of this scrap going on right here.
That's great, actually, yeah. Iron on iron violence, it's fine. The Sentinel's who's approaching, she's definitely just going to see them over her shoulder and just be like, basically, so she's just going to take them and just launch them right at that Sentinel. So what does that require, an agility attack?
Yes.
The character makes a ranged attack against the target. Oh, okay. All right, that's not so bad. So I have to make, so the target number is the Sentinel?
Yes.
Okay, just to see if I can launch them into there.
Yeah, they're huge, so it's not very hard to hit. I mean, it's 12.
Well, we got a Marvel.
Oh, yes, excellent.
All right, so 6. Oh,
you're close. What'd you get?
A 6, 1, 1.
Okay. So if we want to try using the bad karma stuff, yeah, we need to burn through your karma. So yeah, go for it. Reroll it.
All right, we're gonna with a 6, 1 and a possible 6. We gotta go for the ultimate fantastic. So here we go. We're gonna burn one more karma. This is nuts, but here we go. Rolled right back into a 1.
Oh, no.
What a waste. But it is a Marvel, so it is a fantastic. So I don't know if that does anything.
Yeah, I think not only does he hit the target and I think go prone and get pinned, I think the target that you hit actually goes prone as well.
Oh yeah.
We'll calculate damage in a second. But yeah, you get the throw is successful. You grab this guy. She's like, "Hey, old man, I hear you like Tinker Toys," and she just launches at this Sentinel, hits him right in the chest. This guy falls prone.
Nice.
As this guy just kind of crumples and crash lands right here. I'm going to do it here just only because for camera kindness. And we'll launch, it's good. Maybe we'll just flip him this way just again for camera kindness. And he's prone as well.
All right. Okay, so that's a Marvel. We don't double it?
No,
it just says
I think that bonus is like knocking the other guy.
So if this is an agility attack, it's only a 5. So 5 times 6, right? Am I doing that right?
It's -3 for the damage reduction.
16.
16 points of damage.
16 points of damage, unfortunately.
Nice. So 16 points of damage. Just smashes into that Sentinel. Awesome.
She's just gonna, I guess, she'll go stand over by the Iron Sentinel and, maybe more towards the Iron. Oh yeah, I don't. She want to tangle with
the Iron Patriot. You mean?
Yeah. So Iron Patriot. She wants to go stand more towards the Iron Patriot just to make sure if he tries to
get up or
get away or do anything, maybe she can do something about that. But just wants to make sure that she that he knows what he's messing with right now.
I can just stand over him, man.
Yeah, she's like, Gamma's a girl's best friend. Sorry, you want to be registered for what? How does that register with you?
That's good.
That's okay. I guess. Yeah, I think that's all she can do. If that's not enough,
that's plenty. That does bring us to the Iron Patriot, who just had his bell rung as he's just kind of shaking it off and looking up at the grinning face of a jade giant goddess. He's like, "Why won't you guys just stand down?" And he slams his hands into the ground and kind of uses those repulsor beams from his hands to kind of blast him into an upright position here. And Steve Rogers is going to go old school on She-Hulk here, and he's just going to go try to do like an uppercut and try to reciprocate and give him
So like a rocket launched uppercut as he just comes
kind of
off the ground.
Expulsion from his ground. Yeah, we'll do a melee attack against her melee defense. So, not amazing. Only an 8 plus 5, so that's only a 13. So what's your defense?
Defense score is 14.
Okay, so I'm going to spend one of his karma, and we're going to reroll this Marvel. And so let's do better than a 2 and a 4. Yeah, 15.
Okay, that'll hit. 15 will hit. Yeah.
15 will hit.
He's damage reduction 2.
Damage reduction 2? Okay, so that will bring it to a 4. So that'll be a 21. He uses momentum of that uppercut to fly forward as well too, and try to give himself a little bit of space, and we'll just kind of land back here on top of this vehicle. Kind of, maybe bypassing Strange in the air as well too, because he's technically floating up around here. He'll land down on top of this car and kind of like reset his gauntlets and retarget both Strange and She-Hulk and kind of reiterate his demands. He's like, "This fight's gone on long enough. Stand down or I'll have to do something extremely drastic." But as he says the words drastic, the roiling purple mist and fog actually billows a bit, and this opaque wave of purple with electricity kind of surging through it, again, waves over the street corner. And as it does so, again, and kind of blanks out your vision. And again, you can't see more than just a few inches in front of your face. And when that wave finally dissipates a little bit and the scenery around you again kind of shifts and change, and you begin to feel that tingle in your skin, like you've been like hit with like a static charge of some sort. But the fog does again thin a little bit, and the purple veil lifts just a little bit more, I should say. And as it does so, you realize that this
Sentinel
is no longer there
as well.
Yeah, the Sentinel is no longer there, and these trees have recessed back to the way it used to be. And She-Hulk will notice back over her shoulder that the Sentinel is no longer there. And this rubble seems to be no longer there as well too. And the scenery has changed from a post-apocalyptic scene to almost literally a cartoonish version in contrast, as these buildings now, the colors of these buildings, like the architecture is the same, but they're more blue and bright colored, and they got like other buildings are seen to be a very poignant yellow color. And the civilians that you do see in the area are now looking like anthropomorphized dogs in just regular clothing, and they're all kind of talking in like Australian accents. But they're not cartoon characters, they're actually like live action, which kind of makes this scene almost looks worse. Back behind Stephen Strange here, again, this corner here, it starts to look like far more superior technology, like advanced. This is more of a holographic kind of street lamp that's kind of indicating when you can walk, when not walk.
Yeah.
And it's just like more, it's like not even tangible, it's kind of like more glowing and holographic.
All right,
and even
cool.
like the hood of this car seems to be like far more advanced. It almost seems to be like it's like hovering here now. When this wave roiled past you, it's not only the scenery that felt like it's changed. This time it had more of an impact on your characters as well too, and it starts to kind of come back to you as like if trying to recall a dream, but you seem to have been permeated by memories that you didn't remember having before, and it just started coming back to you in almost like a flood and a wave of all these memories, like hundreds and dozens and thousands of memories that you can also instantly recall of almost like a parallel life, a life that you know for a fact that wasn't yours, but you have vivid memories of as if it was yours. And you start to get the impression that there's like a whole other life that you've lived and now can recall these memories of it as, again, this multiversal wave passed through you, kind of indicating, as you may have already guessed, that maybe possibly an alternate version of you has kind of surfaced to the top of your memory. Although looking at yourselves, you don't physically change, but you do have alternate memories from an alternate reality.
Yeah.
To represent that, I'm gonna have you give me a roll of the die. It's just a regular D6 die. Dice roll.
Okay.
But it'll kind of indicate as to what different types of memories you may have gleaned here.
So okay, just roll it. Okay, 5 for strange.
Okay, 5 for strange. Okay, so we'll do strange first. So for strange, that means this is a good one. You've got an additional trait. Congratulations! You now get the quick learner trait. So the memories that seem to be bubbling back in Dr. Strange's mind is that of him going to medical school and being a very studious learner, as he was. But this is a little bit more to the extreme. Like when he was done with his education, training to become a world-class surgeon, he didn't want to stop there. He was like becoming more obsessed with learning more about his craft and his art of being a professional surgeon. So he would constantly be enrolling himself in new educational programs to learn, new techniques, new styles, go abroad and learn new things from other professors, and try to get more doctorates, and just constantly learning. And in this alternate reality, he was so busy, like he didn't really have time for relationships or for love. And so he never really was driven by the same passions. He never really got in that car accident that caused him to have those destroy his hands and to go see the Ancient One and all the rest. So this is an alternate reality where he was more
an actual surgeon rather than a superhero.
Yeah, an actual surgeon. Yeah, and very much so. What's the word I'm looking for?
Successful a little bit.
Well, yeah, successful. Definitely was successful.
Well, quick learner, for those that may not be aware, says that if the character fails an action check, they gain an edge on the check if they try the same action again on their next turn. Okay.
Cool. And so for She-Hulk, you want to give me another?
Yeah, let's go a 4.
Okay, so for 4, what do we got here? Okay. So She-Hulk gets the new trait Abrasive. So this version of Jennifer Walters was also had the same trauma where she was injured and she had her cousin's blood transfused into her and she had become a She-Hulk. But she got a little bit more of Bruce's personality than she bargained for. This type of She-Hulk, especially when she is in She-Hulk form, in particular when she's in She-Hulk form, is a bit more brutish, a bit more snobbish, a bit more gruff around the edges. She loses that Jennifer Walters charm that she brings to her version of She-Hulk, and brings more of that Bruce Banter kind of Hulk smash kind of personality to
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that might bubble up a few times during this this encounter.
Well, it says that if Abrasive, the character rubs people in the wrong way. This gives trouble when trying to make an ego check to persuade someone to help them out. However, it gives them an edge if they're trying to make an ego check to intimidate someone.
There you go.
All right. Well, that may come in handy. We'll find out.
We shall. As your characters are kind of coming to grips with this whole catalog of new memories and experiences that they've just wafted and entered their minds, Stephen Strange also hears someone calling out to him from within the thick veil, the thick fog, several paces in front of him. And right now he just hears a voice yelling out, "Strange!" Someone extremely angry. And you hear the telltale signs of and 2 web lines kind of seem to attach to a building on either side. And you see this black symbiote Spider-Man kind of flip in and land right in front of Stephen Strange. And if you can see through his mask, you can see that he's extremely angry. We'll have Spider-Man came swinging in at the top of the round. And I've already got his initiative pre-rolled. For now, we'll keep the same initiative order. So Stephen Strange had a 21, so he will still be able to react first, even though the Spider-Man came in extremely hot. Flipped off zipped in off 2 web lines and landed hard, but still gracefully for a spider, in front of the hovering body of Stephen Strange. And because he's hovering, I want to do something that will kind of represent that, because he never touched down.
Yeah, if I recall, he sort of was still levitating or flying with cloak of levitation, and then got blasted by the Iron Patriot. But yeah, I think he still remained in the air there as the rest of that was unfolding.
I'm just going to reposition slightly again for camera kindness. But yeah, okay. Sounds good. Awesome. So he lands down. Although his face is covered by a mask, you can tell by his body language as he processes the shout that came through the fog that this Spider-Man wearing the symbiote suit is extremely angry at Doctor Strange. And as Doctor Strange had the highest initial roll, still has the highest initial roll of 21. We'll have see if there's anything he wants to do first.
Does it sound like Peter Parker, somebody that he knew? Does it sound like someone different? Like, we don't know.
In this situation, yes.
Like, would he recognize the voice?
He does recognize the voice as Peter, although it does sound. We could have just been him yelling, or the voice is harsher. It sounds a little more mature than the voice he's used to. Like, this might be a little more grown up version of Peter, but the voice is distinct enough that is a version of Peter.
Okay. All right. So he'd be like, all right, son. I mean, I'm not sure if you're the same Peter that I know, and I'm probably not the same Steven that you know, but I mean no offense by this, but I really don't have any time. So he's going to gather up his energy, he's going to wave his hands around, and he's going to fire off the bolts of Balthak and just try to stun him, or at least hopefully. So he will, I believe he gets an edge on this attack. The character makes an ego check with an edge against the agility defense of a spider. Oh no.
We do have pretty decent agility defense, and I don't think there's anything else I can use as a reaction here.
Mm-hmm.
So your target number for an attack against agility is 20.
Are you kidding me?
That's 20. This is out of the book, by the way. I didn't make this guy.
At 20. All right, well, we got an edge.
Okay.
Let's see what we can do. And it's an ego check. All right, there we go. Oh, 8, so that's an 18. So we do have an edge. Now, because it's an edge, I get to keep the 4 if I roll something less.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's like a 50-50 shot. All right, let's do it.
What do you get? Marvel. Nice. Okay, rerolled into the Marvel.
I don't get the help because it will hit, right?
Because you got 20 exactly, right?
Yeah.
That's his agility defense.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So it's just, sorry about this, kid, but we really don't have time. So he's going to channel his power and then fire off the bolts of Balthak. And because this is a Marvel, it's going to have a stunning effect.
Oh no. You stunning poor Spider-Man?
Bolts of Balthak! And right into the spider, stunning the spider. So we'll take double damage.
Yeah, double damage and the stun condition. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Good
Takes
going.
double the total damage is stun for one round.
Woo!
So 62 will bring us up to 124.
Okay, wow, that really hurt. Still technically conscious, although he's stunned? Oh gosh. So so describe to me what these bolts of Balthak look like as they're pelting into this poor kid.
Apologize. Balthak. Like I said, he just waved his hands around and the circles of eldritch power, and then a bolt, just a jagged bolt of lightning just comes, classic wizard style, classic sorcerer style, right out of his extended hand. For that his spider senses or agility can kick in, it just crackles and forms into a forked bolt. Just lacing the entire area. No matter where he tried to dodge or move, he just got pelted by bolts of this blast.
Spider-Man, as he takes this, and he just kind of crumples down to his knees, and he's just seeing stars, and he just kind of mumbles and sort of slurs, like, I knew it. You're a villain. Killed them. Oh, and now you're trying to finish me off.
Listen,
you can't. He's kind of down on his knees. He's just shaking.
So as he's holding his hands out like Emperor Palpatine style, just blasting him, he does relent and stop with the bolts. But he does look at him with a bit of mournful, sorrowful look in his face. Like, I'm sorry, kid, but I don't know what's going on in your verse, but I'll stop it. I promise.
Awesome. What does She-Hulk think about this?
Is she next?
She will be now that I'm stunned. Yeah, Spider-Man's stunned.
So Spider-Man.
He's out for this round, unfortunately.
So she's going to look at Strange and see that he does, obviously, in the bolts of lightning that's still wrapping around his body, just paralyzing him and stunning him. Does she get an edge if she were to hit him, like in his stunned state?
Yeah, she would have an edge attacking against him.
Look, I don't know what kind of voodoo, magic, matrix things, multiverse garbage is going on right now. But we got to put an end to this. And then so she just looks at the poor Spider Boy. See that he looks like he's almost out of it. I don't know.
Like he's fried. The symbiote suit is actually kind of swirling and definitely seems to be quivering and roiling along across his body as he's like aching in pain and shivering and convulsing from the bolts and the jolts.
So if she'll just see that sign, that streetlight sign right next to her, and she's just going to grab it as she walks past. She's just going to lift it up out of the ground.
The lamppost?
No, the stoplight.
Oh, the stoplight here?
Sign,
She just ripped that out of the ground?
She's going to rip that out of the ground. She's going to walk over there. She's kid, if you're the same Peter Parker that I know, this is going to hurt me a lot more than it's going to hurt you.
Oh, jeez.
But I need you to stop in the name of the law. She's going to hit him with a stop sign.
Oh, gosh.
And try to knock him out.
Okay, so not obviously a killing blow. She's going to try
No, just trying to knock him out.
Unconscious,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So
going to
that
get
would
an
be
edge on
an edge, with a melee
and then
attack.
it's just a melee attack.
Yep.
We're not smashing. Who's Marvel?
You're going to kill him.
I mean, we still have to hit his melee defense.
So his melee defense is still 20, even though he's stunned. Yeah.
So that's 12 on the die plus 5, so 17.
But his melee is 20.
Okay.
So this is it's a fantastic failure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to knock him out. We're not trying to do any real damage to him. So.
Right, and you rolled with an edge already, and that's the result. Okay, so at this point, if Steven wanted to help, he could use his reaction to help you roll again to see if you get a little higher. Otherwise, this would be a fantastic failure.
Sure.
She also has karma. She can spend as well too.
Spending that like candy. All right, help
rules.
teammates. So just like still some of the electricity from the power that he's it's not a concentration, but it's the power that's emanating from him. 3 to a 4. That's only going to be 18.
Okay. So you want to spend a karma if you really want to drive this home? His spider senses are still tingling. Like his whole body is tingling right now, I guess, and so is his spider senses. So he's still able to just. Maybe her heart's not into it, and she's not really aiming it as accurate as she would have. But he's still able to make it the symbiote. So itself is kind of trying to self-preservation, and for its host, is trying to pull itself out of the way. But he's still stunned as he is. Difficult to pin down with a hit. So yeah, this shot right now is not marking true unless you want to spend a karma. We're spending a karma? Okay, go for it. Spend the karma.
5. That'll hit it.
Okay, so you increase the.
Yeah, so we got a 15 plus 5 is 20.
Okay. So, all right. So if you just managed to, spending a karma.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I feel so bad. I feel so bad.
Poor Peter.
This hurts me more than it hurts him, okay?
So as she's saying, she's lining up her shot, and it was almost about to miss, and the symbiote suit kind of shoots out from the side of his body to try to grab the hood of his car over here and about to drag him away. And with Steven's help, he kind of shoots a little extra bolt of electricity out there to kind of shock the symbiote line, and it doesn't quite connect. He doesn't quite get out of the way, and she's just not putting anything behind it really. Although it's Marvel, so I guess she kind of is putting something behind it, but her heart definitely isn't in it. You can definitely tell it's hurting her to she kind of looks away as she kind of brings the hammer down and conks him over the head.
Give the gavel.
Gives the gavel.
Gives him the gavel.
Cracks him with the streetlight. It's definitely enough to send him unconscious. Fortunately for all parties involved, it won't be enough to kill him.
Oh, that was definitely not the intention.
But for number's sake, let's add it up and then times 2. Well into the negative. Terrible. Doing 106 points of damage to poor Peter Parker, who didn't even get a turn. I'm getting all dressed up for the occasion, and you let me do nothing with this guy? But that's how it goes. And as She-Hulk just finishes the attack and maybe she kind of looks away a little bit. She looks down and is like, is he dead? Is he dead? Is he breathing? And you see the symbiote kind of melt a little bit, move a little bit away off his face. And his nose is broken. He's bleeding a little bit. He's gaunt in the eyes. He's got the black, dark rimmed eyes. There's some scars, some scratches. His hair has actually been singed and burnt away. There's not even there right now, just little rough patches. His ear seems to be all cauliflower. But you can definitely tell most of this was not from that attack. This kid's been through some stuff right now.
Oh man.
So he is just breathing a little bit. You can see him taking a breath, and he's coughing a little bit, but he's still alive, but very much unconscious.
I think at this point in time, Steven would probably, if he has a chance to, he'd move over to him and see what he could try to do with his medical expertise. Is there any way to try to stabilize him or something like that?
Well, he's not bleeding out, so like, he's bad. And
Can we use like the crimson sutures of Sidorak to sort of? He just wants to comfort him. It's like I'm not sure what happened to you, boy. Here, but we'll try to help you.
You hear another shout coming from the opposite direction of the street through the fog, but this time not shouting Stephen Strange's name, but shouting Jennifer, as Captain Marvel lands down hard on the ground right in front of the
Superhero style?
Yeah, superhero style, right in front of the Sanctum Sanctorum. And she's livid and she yells, Jennifer, I told you, if you ever came back here, you ever stepped foot in my city again, it was gonna mean your end. If you came back here, as we discussed, you knew you would bring an entire world war. I don't want to have to do this, but you've left me with no choice. And she starts Kamehameha, like powering up like this giant energy blast, and priming it and getting it ready to go. All right, so yeah, Marvel just comes in hot and is powering up an attack, but we'll see if she gets her shot off first, particularly at She-Hulk. She scores a 21 for initiative roll, same as Stephen Strange, but her agility is a little bit higher, so she's gonna go first. So as she's just charging up this massive energy beam, she just lets rip into She-Hulk. And this beam that it emanates from an extremely ticked off Captain Marvel.
Jeez.
It's about the size of a bus is this beam that kind of like eats right into her. And it's going to be an agility attack against your agility defense. Technically going to be an elemental blast. So she'll have an edge on this and she's going to spend maximum focus as a rank 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So she'll spend 30 focus for an additional 15 on the back end. But let's see if we hit. So let's roll for it. I'm trying to get you into bad karma. Spend karmas. You're gonna want to spend a karma. So we got a Marvel on the Marvel die, a 3 and a 4.
Yeah, we'll spend another karma. She's just
going
through like candy
to influence that Marvel.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So I will re-roll that Marvel into a 6. So let's see what we got here. Probably a big number here. 13 plus 6 is a 19. So I'm just assuming 19 is gonna hit.
Her agility, yes, that'll hit.
Okay. So 6 is still pretty powerful hit. And she has damage reduction 2?
Yep.
Okay. So that will bring her times 10 down to an 8. Plus 7 is 70 points of damage. Now this Carol came in and was not holding back, as She-Hulk can now unfortunately attest to, as this massive energy beam just right over top of her head.
Did she just kill Peter?
No, her aim is so amazing.
Okay.
That it went just over top of the prone body of Peter, right into the upper torso and face of She-Hulk. She's kind of like covering up and blasting against it. She still holds her ground as the blast just kind of bores into her. But yeah, otherwise, and I'd just say she probably, within 10 spaces, she definitely has line of sight still within this soupy fog that is still eminent around this entire area. So
I don't feel bad about Peter anymore.
Carol comes in almost like avenging poor Peter, although she had no idea he was even there to begin with. And as soon as she stops barreling into her with that massive blast, she's like, there's more where that came from. Get off my planet. That will be her turn. She's just gonna stay put, stay kind of like flying and hovering in the air at this point here. And to that point, we'll use some of these blocks as well too. We're actually gonna put her up a little bit in the air as well too, actually simulating her flying there. And it would be Stephen Strange's turn.
What would the Sorcerer Supreme do now? So Doctor Strange is going to take a look at that ultimate blast and her declaration that get off my planet. He's going to start forming a portal behind, waving his hands. This swirl of yellow and red sparks just starting to open up behind, which I'm hoping her ire and focus is so strong on She-Hulk that she's hopefully not noticing that.
Okay, so he's going to open up a portal right behind her?
Yeah, and She-Hulk's going to attempt to nudge her through.
Okay, awesome.
So he starts opening that portal right behind her, and She-Hulk acknowledges the game plan, and she's going to try to get up right there and maybe do like a sonic slap to try to shove her right through that portal.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we could be. Whatever it takes. So come on, that's got to count for something.
How we doing?
We got a 6, Marvel 4.
Oh, okay. Let's add up her melee defense is 17. It's pretty high. So let's see if we got there. So it's 12. That's 16. Yeah, you got there. Do you want to spend another karma and try to go for the ultimate?
No.
How much karma are you down to now?
I'm down to 0. Like I've used.
That you can go in the negatives, and we're gonna start to influence the bad karma.
Maybe because she's getting so angry.
Yeah, it could be. You want to do bad karma?
What a waste.
Go do it. Go negative.
Oh, for the lulls.
First, do it.
I don't know. My DM's telling me to do something. Is it good?
No, it doesn't impact her negatively that much. It'd only be that if she starts using devices that could potentially break or fail if she uses it, I have to roll a Marvel to see if that would actually happen.
She can go in negative, I think, up to her rank.
A lot of karma to spend. If you want to try to go for the ultimate, fantastic. If you get an ultimate, fantastic, just do whatever the heck you want. You can't resist it. There'll be no reactions available. Yeah. So just basically, however you want to flavor it, she will go through the portal. No? But she's still, because of the Marvel, she's gonna try to break free of this grab using one of her reactions, but she will have trouble on this. And she did not roll well. So I'm gonna re-roll this. She ended up getting 13. Yeah, what's her melee defense?
14.
Yeah, because of the trouble and a horrible roll, she does end up failing. So,
wow.
Yeah, so she doesn't break free. She-Hulk in all her rage and anger.
Yeah, just
maybe channeling some of that alternate dimension She-Hulk that the memories that she has. She's maybe just got boost her strength.
She's
and
angry.
everything like that. She's just
she's angry right
muscles
now.
in she has sort of bulging, and she grabs Captain Marvel. She has to spend now a reaction to quick toss. So I'm sure she has a reaction available to her.
Yeah.
So she can do quick toss, and she's just basically just going to toss her through that portal?
She's tossing through the portal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the center.
So as she tosses through the portal, and she can't even resist this grab, so she spins her around a few times and sends her right back through, and
then Strange will just instantly close the portal and send her off to some other planet in the multiverse.
Because it can be anywhere that he's actually been to before, right?
Anywhere in the multiverse, any other planet.
And Strange just with at will, drops that portal. And poor Miss Marvel, this alternate dimension, alternate multiversal variant of Miss Marvel is now off planet. If there's nothing else to be done or said.
No, they need she needs to heal up. She took a heck of a hit, and she's negative karma now, so I don't even know if she can heal up. The Crimson Sutures of Sitarak, and he just starts fixing her up. Can Strange with his medical degree start helping her?
So I think he actually spent a karma to do a health recovery check for her and patch her up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he'll start using, because she took a blast from Marvel.
Miss Marvel was not messing around, I'll give you this guy's, one action to kind of recover here before we progress. So you want him just to kind of fly over here and
so he'll
do a little patch up?
Say, nothing personal, I'm just trying to, it looks like you can do a little bit of patching up. Don't worry, I'm a doctor. And he'll just start healing her up. So is there a target number?
10. So it would be a resilience.
3 on the Marvel dice. So is that 3 times 5 is only 15.
So that's 15 health. So 15 health. It comes back. She can also spend a karma if she wants to do a health recovery check. So is she going to also spend a karma to do a health recovery check? Get a little more back? Actually, that's what karma's for.
This is crazy.
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. It's only times her rank.
Gets over 10.
Okay, we got 12 plus stuff. But we rolled a 5.
Nice.
So 20 more health.
Okay,
right,
there we go.
Bad.
20 more health. So as they're catching their breaths, and Steven's helping patch her up a little bit and soothing some of the wounds, maybe with magic or maybe some bombs that he keeps on him, maybe something that Wong had prepared for himself is sharing with She-Hulk there. And then She-Hulk herself, with her own resilience, can kind of use her gamma radiated blood to kind of help and recover some health as well too. She just digs down deep and uses her resilience to and resolve to recover and get her breath. And they all just take a moment, and poor Peter over here a little bit. But at that time, again, another wave of rolling purple fog that's as thick as smoke, completely opaque. You can't even see through it. Again, covers the entire block, blankets them in this heavy fog. They're still feeling that static charge as their hairs are standing up. And within a few seconds, the thick of it dissipates, and a thin veil still envelops the entire area, but at least they can see you again within about 10 spaces. And as they're looking around and their ears are peaked and no one's screaming their names, it actually does seem fairly quiet at this point in time. However, again, the scenery around them has changed a little bit. And in one corner of the building, you kind of see that things are getting quite pixelated and blocky almost. And it's almost like the entire texture and surface of the area has gone like 8-bit. And the poor individual who was standing here he kind of got a little bit taller and blockier, and his arms went across in front of his chest, and his nose got a little more hooked, and he started talking some noises, and you see this little blocky, almost chicken-like creature with a small little boy sitting on top of it. It looks a little, worse for wear, green skin, patchy hair, and he kind of like a giggle on his face as he jockeys along on this chicken and scares off this civilian off the table. Wow. And with that, we'll say that it's more or less clear as Stephen and
Peter still here?
Sorry, you're correct. Yeah, this version of Spider-Man would have disappeared as the fog cleared as well too. You would notice that symbiote version of Peter had disappeared. So again, the way seems clear more or less. It's still very foggy in front of you. You have to maybe move slowly, move cautiously. But at this point, Stephen still feels the pull to the epicenter, which is just maybe a block or so up the street, close by. And so I take it you guys want to head this way to kind of.
I feel that time is running out for us. We must hurry along. Well, doctor's orders.
All right, so as Stephen and She-Hulk were moving up the street cautiously and trying to push through the fog and veil and stay close.
Oh no, they're going fast and taking risks. Yeah.
Okay, the faster they go, I'm gonna roll this one back just a little bit, or roll it into as you guys are pursuing forward. The fog that had just previously passed through you and that thick wave that went over you, it also left an imprint of yet another multiversal visage of you. Or the memories are inside of your mind at this point, and because as you're moving forward, you start having recollections of events that never happened, or at least that you don't recall happened, but yet they have happened because you have very vivid memories of these sort of things. Oh. So for each character, for She-Hulk and for Stephen Strange, I'll get you to roll 1d6 die, and we'll see what kind of new memories that were.
Wow. Okay. All right, so
subsumed here.
There's Dr. Stephen Vincent Strange, if that's still his real name. A 2.
A 2, you say? Okay.
Well, the dice said it, not me.
This one, this trait is the loner trait.
Do I get an edge?
No edge, unfortunately. If you want to spend a karma, I'll let you spend a karma on that die.
No, it's fine.
This one is the loner trait. So.
What does that do for you?
Not great things.
Oh.
There were some good traits in here and some bad traits in here. This one can sometimes fall into the bad trait category. Probably most of the time fall into bad trait category. So this part of Stephen Strange is kind of the part where he became obsessed with gaining more and more power to undo some wrongs he did in his earlier use. Maybe the loss of his significant other, maybe his girlfriend at the time. He kind of just gets subsumed by guilt and by obsession to right his wrongs and just gain power, and it kind of secludes him from all his friends and from his allies, and for years and years and years he just worked alone and alone and alone. He kind of forgot even the concept of teamwork. But all in the quest to gain more and more power and strength and be able to do things on his own and not involve other people in his doings because he doesn't want to potentially harm other people or get people harmed in his pursuits. So to represent that, again, we have the loner tag. So you want to read the loner tag first?
Well, loner, the description says, the character does not play well with others. They cannot be given an edge via assistance by someone who is not a teammate. So they cannot be given an edge via assistance by someone who is not a teammate.
Right. And in this particular situation, as this is more of a team up than working with a teammate member, so I would say that it would apply in this situation where She-Hulk now be able to give the help teammate action.
Yeah, but can he help her as a team? Can he give the help action?
Yeah, so I imagine he can probably still help. Yeah, because he can push some of these thoughts aside and maybe change his ways a little bit, maybe because there are other parts of Stephen Strange still in here, right? This is just
I would hope so.
An additional layer to him now that complicates things a little bit, and his memories are muddying things. So yeah, I would say that he can provide the help action, but he cannot receive the help action as per the reading of that description there.
Okay.
So She-Hulk, let's give She-Hulk a roll.
Well, let's hope it's better than that. Here we go. She-Hulk rolls a 3.
Okay. Oh, 3. We already did the 3 to 4, so let's roll again.
Okay, She-Hulk rolls a Marvel, which is a 1.
Okay. Oh, here we go. This one could be considered good and bad. It's the Berserker trait, which we may know and love from the Wolverine.
Oh, no.
Played. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So,
oh, boy. This could be bad.
This trait would represent her, again, being a life that she had lived similar to, again, her cousin Bruce, where she was a little more susceptible to the anger and to the rage of the green behemoth that lives inside of her. So there's actually memories of her growing to like 3 to 4 times her size and menacing cities and being much like Bruce had at his worst. Gone completely savage and like destroyed their city blocks, and having like all the Avengers and the X-Men and the Inhumans and the Defenders all had to team up and try to calm her down and stop her before she rampaged and destroyed the entire, East Coast. And to that effect, ever since then, she's just been susceptible to going into blinding fits of rage.
Yeah.
So the Berserker trait, that would probably come in handy. might apply.
I don't know. So to paraphrase, the character can lose control of their temper. If they do, they must make an ego check. When they get hit by physical damage, that might be relevant. They must make an ego check with a target number equal to the amount of damage that they were dealt. If they fail, they go berserk and must charge full speed into combat with the enemy who hurt them. Berserker then gives you an edge on all close attacks and a +2 to your melee, so that's always good.
Yeah.
Resilience and ego defenses also get bumped. However, it takes a -2 from their agility defense, and they cannot use ranged weapons.
Right.
There's more. When you know it. If the character defeats the enemy who hurt them, they must then charge to attack the next closest foe. Oh, okay, so they just keep going.
Yeah, I think until all enemies are gone, basically, they stay in reserve.
Do they ever get to make a check again, like at the end of their turn, so they can make another check? It doesn't sound like it. At the end of the character's turn, they lose 5 focus. That's not good either. When their focus is reduced to the point where the character cannot voluntarily spend any more focus, or if there are no enemies in sight, the Berserker state automatically ends.
So often don't read to the bottom of the trait sometimes. Yeah, we forgot to do that.
It's good to know.
Good to know. Okay, so all that kind of happens to them, and these memories rush through them as they're pushing forward and getting closer to the epicenter of where all this smoke and fog that's enveloped this entire area is emanating from this portal that they've arrived at right now. So upon seeing this portal, it's slightly different to each of the characters' eyes. So for She-Hulk, all she sees is this shimmering cylinder that seems to be encompassing around this portal that's flickering on and off. But to Stephen Strange's eyes, the practitioner of magic, and with the eye of Agamotto still engaged and activating, he actually does see someone else, just a little translucent, almost like ghost-like, kind of standing in front of this very tall figure, one with a kind of a wispy flaming type head. And Stephen Strange does recognize this person, even though this individual is different from when he last gazed eyes upon him. This does also seem to be a multiversal version of Dormammu, and I'm going to switch him this way right here. He would be facing the portal, but I want him facing the camera.
So there is a barrier, a cylindrical barrier around this portal.
Stephen would kind of suspect as much that there would be some sort of protective barrier or something around it. It could be wards, it could be something, but he does also see like the shimmering cylinder as well.
Okay.
But he does see someone else standing in on the center.
Is it keeping him? Well, I guess we won't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Is it keeping him in? Is it keeping us out?
If you want to give me a few checks, we can investigate a little further. If Stephen Strange wants to investigate, obviously it seems to be very magical, so we can use again an ego check to see if this is actually a magical barrier, which spoilers, it is. It seems fairly obvious. But if She-Hulk wants to investigate the properties of this shimmering cylinder, she would give us a logic check.
Yeah, so Stephen will definitely want to investigate this first, but he's going to be very, very wary of his longtime nemesis and foe, if it is indeed the same Dormammu, because we've been running into a lot of variants, it seems. But either way, he knows how dangerous this foe could possibly be, or likely is. So he's going to definitely caution She-Hulk. Stephen Strange is going to turn to her and just say, "You may not be aware, but it appears that there's some sort of barrier preventing a very dangerous foe from either coming in or going out. I fear that this task may be left to me alone to handle. I don't know if I can ask you to go any further and get involved in such a battle as such this. This is an old foe of mine. Appears to be Dormammu. Couldn't possibly ask you to go any further. Gonna be like, look, you ain't my doctor, okay? I can take care of myself. I'm a big green girl. And so he's going to go ahead and do an investigation check.
For against magical elements like this, we can do an ego check.
Ego check.
Yes. It's falling in the magical realm.
All right. So he's going to focus his third eye and the power of the magic of the Eye of Agamotto, and just keep a weary eye out for Dormammu and any moves that he might make. But he's going to focus his power into what this barrier and this portal and whatever else is going on. Let's see what he gets.
Okay. If it's a magical check by a magical practitioner like Stephen Strange, the target number you were aiming for was only an 18.
So we rolled triple three, so that's a 9 plus 12, which will give us a 21.
Okay.
Blackjack.
Blackjack. Perfect. Yeah, 21 does beat the target number of 18. So he does get a good read on what this shimmering field that is encompassing and surrounding this portal is all about. And he has actually encountered, or in a way dealt with, this type of barrier, because it isn't actually a barrier before. In his many visits to the dark dimension, he knows that this portal is the exact same that is used to keep the mindless ones at bay in the dark dimension. That Dormammu has been known to maintain and control a barrier that prevents any of these beastly creatures from attacking the city within inside of the dark dimension.
Can I ask, are the tendrils of ephemerals or ethereal fog and smoke, is it emanating from this barrier as well, or is it emanating from something else? Like, is it just like
good question
existing around it?
Yeah, I'll clarify. It actually is emanating through the portal.
Oh,
and it is one of the few. This seems to be at this time the only thing that seems to be emanating or passing through this barrier.
Okay,
but it is the origin of this fog. It's right, like kind of billowing out or tendriling out from this portal in all directions, and billowing into a fog that's encompassing and so it's blanketing this entire area. Yes,
coming out of the portal there. Sorry. If this gets rolled into the ego check, does he get a sense as to what those spheres and tendrils are in the background? Is that anything that
it
he knows is controlling something, or?
These here are representing breaks and rifts within the multiverse itself. So it's just to represent the multiverse schisming and splintering and breaking apart and just opening a gap to like maybe a void zone, to be like a no zone, like not specific to any multiverse, but kind of like a in-between multiverses.
Branches to prune.
To pile on, Stephen Strange would know that this barrier is almost impossible to break through. Clea, the niece of Dormammu, and in some multiverses, the wife of Stephen Strange.
Right.
Either way, in most cases, a fairly well-known companion to Stephen Strange, would have probably informed him of how she was able to, through a ritual, a magical ritual, put in holes and cracks inside a barrier similar to this. I'll go out on a limb and assume that this Stephen Strange has had interactions with Clea, or maybe one of the multiversal versions that he's assumed during this. Does know Clea.
Well, that's good to know.
And he would have a conversation with her, and she would have told him how she was able to break or put a crack into this barrier and allow the mindless ones to escape and harry and harass Dormammu at one point in time. So he is aware of a ritual that can break it down. So I'll give that to you, all kind of packaged into that role you did, that ego check.
Okay. And then She-Hulk is going to walk up to that barrier and just take a look and say, so what's the trick to this? Do we just say a bunch of nonsense words and then, okay, how about this? Hocus pocus, skibbity toilet, I cast smash. And she's just going to punch the barrier and see what happens. I mean,
it's
I don't know.
I would say this type of barrier probably wouldn't need to roll for it, but you could still roll to see what you get on the Marvel, and see if there's any kind of damage or indent that you should do to it. But if we want to fast forward to the point where she does absolutely no damage to it, we can just skip right ahead to that point there.
Okay, so you're telling me that the physical attacks against this thing are not
It would take an entire legion of Hulks at their angriest to probably put a dent into this barrier physically.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, so Doctor Strange is going to just turn to her and say, that won't be necessary. I do believe I'm familiar with a ritual that may get us at least could put a crack into this barrier, but it's going to take some time, perhaps. Does he know the ritual? Is it something that we can?
He is aware of it, yes. And Stephen Strange, being the Sorcerer Supreme, does know how to perfect upon it. Master of Mystical Arts does know how to perfect upon it. So, although it may have taken Clea like hours to perform this and drained her completely of all her magical energy at the time, for Doctor Strange, he's confident that he can do it within a few minutes. So it's going to require an ego check. We're going to start off at target number 18. And if successful, you'll be able to flip over 4 of these tiles. The trick here, it's going to be like a little memory game. The trick here is to flip over 4 of the same matching color tiles. So there are about 4 different colors on the underside of these tiles. You're trying to collect 4 of the same color. Whenever you flip over a tile, and you get to flip over 4 at a time, any colors that match stay turned over. If there are any colors that don't match another color that you flipped, they get turned back over. And then you get to try on a subsequent turn to, get to match 4, basically. If you roll a Marvel when you do your check, you'll get to flip over 6 tiles. And if you roll an Ultimate Fantastic on your check, you'll get to flip over 8 tiles.
Wow.
Once you have 4, you'll open up a little crack or a hole big enough for both of you, our characters, to slip through.
Right, and to get through would be to try to interact with the portal, I suppose, or shut it down.
That seems to be the main goal here, yeah. If we can shut down this portal,
we can
stop whatever is happening with this
multiversal cataclysm.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Getting through the barrier is one challenge. Shutting down the portal would be another. Like they're not linked together. This is just to get through the barrier. That's what Strange knows. Okay.
Correct.
And now I know. Okay. So he's keeping an eye on Dormammu. Is he inert? Is he reacting to Stephen Strange's presence? Like, does he see Stephen through this barrier?
Although I'm facing him towards the camera, he's actually is more focused on the portal, and you can see Dormammu kind of, in a way, doing his own ritual and focusing solely on this portal right now. It's as if anything else around him really doesn't concern him or bother him at all. And his motions are very practiced, as if he's done this hundreds of times before. He just seems to be doing it so fluently and so perfectly. And you kind of see that the stone around this portal, there's glyphs, magical glyphs or wards, kind of lighting up so slowly. Like the magical sigils are kind of starting to glow and starting to complete.
All right.
Each one are starting. So you feel like that once all these glyphs and wards are complete, then this portal will become like a fixture, a solid, unbreakable portal that cannot be closed again.
Okay. So this is Strange in getting this information through his spectral eye and through the eye of Agamotto, seeing these things.
Being a practitioner and magic.
Recognizing, yeah. So he's going to again turn to She-Hulk and say that, I fear that we're running against the clock here. We may not have much time. Is there anything She-Hulk can do while can she participate in the ritual to try to break this down, to speed things up?
Because almost anybody can technically learn how to use magic. She could study his movements and see how he's doing it. And if she wants to make it, going to be an extremely high logic check, because this will be like under pressure when she doesn't have any training. But she is a very learned and studious individual herself, being a lawyer and went through the school and just being a quick study. So there's a chance that she can mimic and do his motions as well too, and she can focus hard enough. But it's going to be a logic check for her, and it's going to be a target number of 20.
Well, all right. So then Doctor Strange is just going to he's going to sit down, crisscross applesauce, and he's just going to go into sort of a lotus pose, and he's going to then start with his, he'll be sort of levitating as well with the cloak. He'll just sort of be in a crisscross applesauce as he levitates there, and he's going to be focusing on the ritual that he's doing. And She-Hulk's he's going to mention to She-Hulk, now watch carefully and try to do as I do.
Nice.
And he's going to slowly start at first try to go through the ritual motions and the arcane ruins that he's emanating and trying to interact with. And She-Hulk's just going to be like, okay. She's also going to try to sit down, crisscross applesauce. She's going to pull her legs in there and just like, And then she's just going to do the sort of like making like
shadow puppet motions.
Puppet motions, yeah.
Fair enough.
Or something.
So
okay.
we're going to start with Strange to do the action check first, and we're going to
So this is going to be another ego check. All right. Well, that's good for him. Let's see what we get. Triple fours. That's interesting. All right, triple fours. So for a 12 plus 12 is 24.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, you definitely cracked the 18 target number that you're aiming for. So unless you want to spend a karma to influence your Marvel die to try to get that Marvel, you can flip over 4 tiles.
Starting with the tile closest to Strange.
Starting to Strange. I'll just kind of like rotate around you.
No, let's start with the one closest to him.
Oh, sorry. Okay, closest to him. Okay, so that's 1.
Okay,
clockwise, counterclockwise.
Yeah, go towards yourself and stop right there.
It's 2.
Okay. Stop.
3. Oh, we got a match. And here comes.
Stop.
Okay. Whoa, 2 matches. Excellent.
Okay.
You have the orange.
Yes.
Purple. So because these colors match here and this one matches here, both stay. All of them stay up.
They'll stay? Oh, yeah. Great. Okay. So I don't have to get 4 in a row?
No. So now you're 2 away from getting a purple to open up a crack in the portal, or 2 away from getting an orange to open a crack.
Okay, that's a good opening.
Wow, good,
right.
good picks.
See, it's easy as that, okay? Your turn. You give it a shot.
So the shimmering in the barrier around it kind of flickers a little bit as in the color of an orange and a purple over here. Okay, so does She-Hulk want to give it a crack?
Yeah, she's just going to give it a shot. Like, okay, fine. Hocus pocus. Skitty marinky dinky dink, skidamarinky doo.
Stephen Strange wants to burn it.
That's not great. It's not going to. We got a 5, 2, and a 2 on the Marvel. So I will take the help action from Strange.
Okay.
If he can help her.
Yeah.
He'll just no, more with the wrist. Pinky's up.
I'll give you double edge for that because of.
All right, we're going to take these 2
Such
twos.
a good teacher.
Okay, that was a 2, so we'll go from a 1 back up to a 2. Okay, it's not going to do it. So we got a 12 plus her logic. But yeah, so no, we got 15. So
Okay.
Unfortunately,
that did not crack it, but manipulating and trying to influence the barrier as she did, and trying to mess with the magical elements as she did try to do, and unfortunately watching it, this does actually cause the barrier to ripple and shimmer a little bit, and a portal will actually rip open almost right next to her. And from that portal, a Desian from the dark dimension, from which multiverse is left to be decided, but will emerge and trying to smash away this car right here as he gets driven over by it.
And the car drives right into him.
Get out of here.
Pushes him into the barrier.
Yes, and this snarling, demon-looking beast emerges from this hellish portal.
Doctor Strange, I think I did bad. Yeah, seeing that demon pop out, she's going to look over to Doctor Strange. It's like, Doc, I don't think that worked. But you know what? Now I got something else to do. And if that's an ugly demon that's snarling and not looking too friendly or wanting to converse, I think she'd probably react in a way where she's going to try to interact with that.
Fair enough. Let's quickly just roll initiative so we can figure out which turn order we're going to go. Doctor Strange, She-Hulk, and this demon.
Doctor Strange is in this too, okay.
So, we'll go to the top of the round, and that would put us back up to Stephen Strange. The demon emerging from a portal, does he focus on getting this barrier down? Does he have other tricks up his sleeve? Or is he going to change focus to a demon from the dark dimension?
No, he's going to trust in his teammate. Basically, from his lotus pose and his hand motions, he's going to crack one eye open, like one actual eye open, looking over at She-Hulk, sort of cracking her knuckles and walking towards the demon. Just like, well, he had it coming. And he's going to go back to focusing on the barrier, because he knows he's aware of the actual threat behind the barrier and the time clock that seems to be ticking down.
Yeah, good call.
Give another ego check,
Awesome.
and give another crack at this barrier here.
Target number is 18.
Okay, so we got 10 on that.
Plus
12. Yeah.
Yeah, so 22, yeah.
So 22.
Do you want to, all right. So
Yeah,
you want to
so-
pick up where we left off, or do you want to start here?
Yeah, let's go the opposite way, counterclockwise.
Okay.
And so that one right there.
This
Yeah,
one here.
that one right there. What do we get?
We got blue.
Okay, that one.
Right next to it?
Yeah, right next to it.
Oh, there's your other orange.
Okay, and go that. Yep, yeah, that one you got your finger over right now.
That's green.
Okay, and stop.
This one right here.
Yeah. Another.
Okay,
blue.
we got a
Okay.
blue. So, of the 4 you flipped over, only the blues had a matching pair.
Okay.
So only the blues are going to stay. So we're going to have to flip
So
over,
that one's
flip
going
back
to
the orange,
Finish. Oh no.
and flip
Okay.
back the green.
Shoot.
But we have blue. So
So now we're getting.
blue is in play. And you know where one orange is. You just got to remember where it is.
Why does everything have to be 3-card Monty? Okay, no, it's fine.
Does Strange want to move?
Yeah, he doesn't want to move too far away from She-Hulk just to
Okay.
make sure she needs,
Great.
if ever she did need assistance, he might be able to help out.
Speaking of, She-Hulk is up.
She's up next. Okay, then she's just going to She-Hulk smash.
All right. So
Okay,
just smash,
yeah,
she's just gonna jump
she'll
up
just see, hey,
at him.
hey, Fido. All right. She-Hulk smash. She's going to pump a little bit of focus into this.
All right, let's do it.
13 plus
Probably
5, so
yeah.
18.
Your melee target is a target number 15. Okay.
Does any reduction?
Damage reduction of only 1. These are thick hide, steel muscle beasts that can take a beating.
Sorry, 35 plus 5, so that's 40 plus 10, so 50 points of damage.
50. Jeez. 50 points of damage.
She-Hulk smash!
He also has the Berserker trait, but there's no way I'm going to roll a check that will be under 50 unless I get an Ultimate Fantastic. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be Berserk. Let's see. No Ultimate Fantastic. Yep, he's Berserk. So She-Hulk will be his intended target for his retaliatory attack when it's his turn. Is She-Hulk going to do anything else? She's moved a little bit.
Yeah, she's still got a bit of movement.
Do you want to bounce back to Venus Strange? Or?
I think I've got its attention, and so she's just like, as a follow through with that smash, sort of knocking its jaw, and she's just going to keep moving around it to try to get it away from Strange.
Just kind of leap over here and drag it back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it right about. Definitely has retention. Okay, so if nothing else, then it does go to our
Fido?
demon friend, Fido here, who will, of course, leap back over because he is berserk and enraged and going right after her. So as berserk, he does have edge on all his attacks, not his melee attacks. And his defense is bumped up a little bit here by 2 as well. So with an edge, ooh, it rolled pretty poorly. What's She-Hulk's melee defense?
It's only 14.
10. So I only have 13 right now, so I'm gonna have to re-roll one of these ones. No! That's a fail. I only got 13. So that's a swing and a
she
miss.
just sort of, she's obviously very quick on her feet.
Yeah. So these massive claws kind of raking in at her and these jaws kind of snapping and biting at her. But yeah, she's too agile, too quick, and skin too tough that nothing even cuts through her. So she is absolutely fine. That brings us back up to Stephen Strange.
Oh, okay. Doctor Strange, seeing She-Hulk is got things well in hand. It's going to give another crack. Good lord, now where? Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Can I go back in the camera roll? I think I remember where it was.
Okay. Target number 18. How'd we do?
Yeah, I don't know. This can be close. That's a crappy roll. Plus 12. Still going to make it. 19.
Yes, you just make it. Yeah. You make it. Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
so we
start
know.
here again.
Okay, so keep going. I think there's that one.
This one?
Yes, I think.
I'm gonna flip over this guy. It's a blue.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
So which one? You wanna keep going or?
Yeah, and I get 4.
Yeah, you get 4. I can go back. I'm going in any direction.
Yeah, go back one.
Back one. This
Flip
one.
that open. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
This one.
No. No. Yes. Flip that one.
We did it. Congratulations.
Whoa.
Well done. And only put a crack inside this almost impenetrable barrier that Dormammu has expertly erected. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
I
perfect.
believe I have it, She-Hulk. The chink in the armor.
So you see this purple light kind of emulating from all these points in the circumference of this barrier, and they kind of coalesce and kind of all come together in this one area and just kind of crack open a small piece of this barrier, just large enough for two humanoid-sized individuals to squeeze through.
So large enough for us to squeeze through, hopefully, but not Dormammu to crawl through, hopefully. I assume he's still focused on the portal from what Strange can see?
You do see him flinch a little bit as if he's detected some sort of crack in his barrier there, but he is still focused on, yes, the portal.
On the portal.
Yes.
Okay.
So you got movement. Do you want to enter, or do you want to hold off?
I think we've got to...
Well, I'm going to say that because Stephen was working it from this angle here, I'll just say that...
is there an actual hole there?
The entry point would just be like here.
Okay, so
just say, yeah.
Now that he can get through that, if he can pass through that, would he? I would like to try to investigate the portal to see what can be done to shut it down. Can he use like dispel magic or something on it to stop the spell?
There are some things that Stephen Strange, being the Sorcerer Supreme, just kind of knows for being
Master of Mystical Arts.
The Master of Mystical Arts. He does know that this form of Dormammu is in his astral form, because he's seen this before. He knows this almost innately, right?
That's how we can see him.
That's how he can see that he's in this translucent state, right? He is actually in his astral form. So any interaction with this Dormammu character, or this astral projection of Dormammu, would require Stephen to also be in his astral form for him to interact and engage with.
And again, Dormammu being in the astral plane, we can't interact with him unless we go to the astral plane, but he can't interact with us unless we go to the astral plane. Is that...
As far as you're
aware, okay, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, so Stephen's going to be thinking to himself, okay, well, out of the frying pan and into the oven, I suppose. So he's going to go through the barrier.
So he will merge through the barrier.
Yeah.
And as he gets through here, he does gaze upon, or it's almost impossible not to gaze upon what is happening inside this portal or through this portal. With a quick glance, anyways. He can turn away and decide not to look through the portal, but it's up to you if you would actually look through the portal.
Well, I think he's more interested in the ruins around the portal to see how much time he may have before something occurs.
So with the prep where you might see what's vaguely going on there, but he's focused on the carvings and the runes that are inside around this portal.
How could you also avert your gaze from anything, horrific or whatever may be happening with inside? I mean, he is focused on the ruins to see how much time he has, but I mean, if his eye gets caught by whatever's going on in the inside, I don't know. It's up to you.
I give you a choice. Like, if he wants to investigate the portal and look through it, that's something that he can do. But for right now, he's okay.
His initial concern is what state is the portal in.
Awesome. Yeah, and at this time, Stephen Strange entering through his almost impenetrable barrier. Oops. That's the state of my board.
Game over.
Yeah, you would get the attention of this astral projection of Dormammu as he kind of turns his head slightly to gaze upon Stephen. And as he's still going through his motions with his hands and going through the proper practiced routine, he, without pausing or breaking that, he kind of looks over and he's like, Stephen Vincent Strange, have you come here to help or to hinder? Many times before have we met in this exact same spot. Many times before have you perished. It is curious to me how often you and I meet at this spot, but meet we do. So I ask again, are you here to help or to hinder?
With all the memories that he's just mentioned, how many times we've done this and how many times we've gone to this rodeo. Do you confirm that?
He doesn't have any distinct memory of that, but from a few multiversal memories that he has from the one that is the loner type, the one that's assuming power, he does get the impression that there could be a version of him that would want to join or help with just to get a piece of this power and maybe to take it for himself eventually, or to use this power to get stronger. If power it is that is beyond this portal, as what this version, this astral projection, this alternate version of Dormammu would suggest.
Does he get a response, or is that the end of his turn right now?
I can let you respond if you want. You want to let it hang? You want to think about it? We'll go on to She-Hulk?
No, he would, because he could hear Dormammu through the astral plane.
Yes.
Could he then respond?
He could definitely
to respond?
Yeah, he would be able to respond. There seems to be this ability to connect and communicate based on both their ranks and their power and their mystical abilities.
So he'd obviously address Dormammu And he would respond to him basically saying, though we have faced each other many times, and many of those may not have been aligned, nor do we usually stand on the same side of what is virtuous and good. As the Sorcerer Supreme, and the defender and upholder of all magical weaves of the earth, I cannot allow this portal to remain. If aligning with you is a way to close this portal, then I will do what I must.
Interesting. Yet I feel you are more here to hinder. Not once have I accepted your help. I shall deal with you momentarily, Stephen Vixen Strange. And he goes back to his machinations.
Guess I failed that ego check.
Let's move on to She-Hulk. What's She-Hulk going to do now?
Okay, so she's still dealing with Fido, but she sees Stephen Strange move in through the hole, the gap, I guess we can call it, in the barrier.
Yes.
So she kind of wants to get rid of this demon as quickly as she can and try to help him out. But does she get a sense that her punch did anything to this thing? Like, is it
it hurt it. Yeah, you definitely see like some bruising, some cuts, some bleeding a little bit, some contusions. It definitely hurt him. Yeah, but he's still got a little bit of fight left in him.
Yeah, so she's going to be looking at the demon there, and it's obviously just Ma's just sort of, snapping at him, and she's just right there in front of her. And she's just
claws and teeth.
Yeah, claws and teeth. She's like, okay, down, boy. And she's just going to sort of grab it and maybe just try to muzzle it, and then just sort of maybe, I guess, just flip it over her shoulder and just kind of throw it into that nexus thing.
Oh, it's going to, cool. So he's going to
see what that does.
Into this, into this nexus here.
Right,
yeah. Fun. Okay, cool. Let's give it a shot.
Fries him or...
Yeah, give me a roll.
Him out of here or what?
Yeah, his melee defense did go up because he is berserk right now. So the score now is in 17.
All right, well, let's see if we can grab him and toss him. See what we'll be doing. We got 7 plus... Where do plus 5? No, that's not even close.
What did we do? 4? Okay, 4, that's 9. 11. So that's... It's only 16?
There's no help action. He can't.
Well, Stephen Strange can... He can't receive help, but he can give help.
He can give help.
So we used the karma to roll it into a...
She's only got 1 left.
Yeah.
But
so
we're going to
Stephen's help? Okay.
So it still fails. So Stephen's just going to sort of...
You can see right through Dormammu as he's still in his astral form. He's kind of very ghostly, translucent. So you can see the fight and the struggle that's going on over there, and see She-Hulk trying to grab him. And
we'll see. Maybe he doesn't do anything.
Really go if they can help him.
6. Now we go.
Okay.
Now we hit.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 50, now we got it to a 20. That's good.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, he's familiar with these demons, and maybe he just knows weak spots. So like under the chin.
Perfect. So his familiarity with these demons
behind the ear
lets her know that you can call it a weaker spot for him. Yeah.
Perfect. So lovely. Okay. So with all of that, including a burnt,
we finally get
but that helped.
We get the grab, and you can use reaction for the quick toss. I think that's what we're going for.
That's what we're going for. Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna quick toss him into this branch.
Yeah.
So we can. What we can do here.
So, I mean, like target number 10 to hit this thing.
We really ran out of luck here, but okay. All right, so what do we got? We got 9 on the dice, but we got another 5.
Perfect. So that's enough just to flip this guy right over her shoulder, right into this multiversal nexus, and just kind of gets sucked and eviscerated and just completely dissolves down to the molecules and just kind of disappears.
Okay, she's gonna back away from that. They're moving.
Yeah, she's got some movement left.
Like,
she can just
hey, Doc.
Maybe do around the opening where.
Let's not touch. Don't touch the branches.
We'll bring us back to the top of the round. What does Stephen Strange want to do?
He's a little bit confused, or maybe I just a little bit confused about Dormammu in his position here, and what he's trying to accomplish. But he does know that if he's going to have any sort of interaction with him, he's got to go into the astral plane.
Yes.
Right?
Stephen Strange, as he entered here and kind of assessed what's going on and seeing that Dormammu is in the astral form doing this, he's gathered enough information just from that alone almost, and from looking at the runes and maybe kind of reading the inscription like that, and anyone who wants to manipulate or try to close or open this portal magically will have to do this from within the astral plane.
Right, such as Dormammu.
Such as Dormammu as he's doing now, yes.
As he's doing now.
So Stephen Strange will have to go into his astral form as well if he wants to magically manipulate this portal, either to close it or to open it, depending on which way he wants to lean.
Doctor Strange is going to. So he's going to back out of the portal. He's going to meet with She-Hulk. Maybe wherever. Yeah, just so that he can sort of back out of there and meet with She-Hulk. And he's going to tell her, in order to deal with Dormammu, I'm going to have to go into my astral form. I'm just going to leave my physical form vulnerable. I ask you, this battle between Dormammu and myself, whatever it may entail, is between he and I. Unfortunately, you won't be able to assist me there. I do ask you, however, whilst my body is vulnerable as I'm in the astral plane, try not to let me get eaten. And then he's going to sort of go crisscross applesauce again and lotus pose, and he's going to activate his astral form.
Awesome. Okay, so I just happen to have an extra Stephen Strange mini that may represent his astral form.
Wow.
As he goes into astral form, like you said, he's sitting crisscross applesauce, lotus pose. The astral form of Stephen Strange does leave his body and can now basically fly like crazy amount of speed. So is he going to go back, I guess, through the portal, which actually he does find that he can kind of, through the astral form, kind of penetrate this portal a lot easier. You can just kind of float right through. Boop.
All right. Information that would have been helpful 5 minutes ago. All right.
But now Dormammu sees Stephen Strange in his astral form as he approaches and says, you frustrating gnat. Even at your strongest, you are not powerful enough to deal with me. Why even bother? You are nothing but a minor distraction, a nuisance. I shall deal with you in a moment, Stephen Strange, painfully. But right now, I have a portal to maintain and get fully open. You'll also see that in this astral form, the runes look a little bit different as now you're appearing through it in your astral form. And you can see that they've been completing in a sequence that you believe is about halfway complete. So Dormammu is halfway to getting this portal locked in a fully open position and having this portal here permanently.
Sound good.
Yeah, so he's close. But Stephen Strange still has a chance to stop and close and reverse this.
Does he look into the portal this time?
As he's looking through the portal, he does notice that these tendrils that are coming through, they look a little bit more solid, a little more tendrily. It's got a little more substantial substance to them. They seem to be rippling a little bit more with lightning and electricity, like a purple, bright pink colors. And through the portal that these tendrils are kind of penetrating through this portal into this multiverse from like all angles, digging deep into the ground and digging straight up into the sky and kind of morphing a little bit into this fog or this cloud that blankets this entire area and still expanding rapidly. As you can see these tendrils kind of like coiling out and pumping out more and more and more into this realm, into this multiverse. Through the portal though, if he's willing to look through it, up to you.
Well, since we already got an essence to how much time he has, yes, he would take a look into the portal now. Yes.
Okay. So because he is Sorcerer Supreme, he does have some resilience to gazing upon things that would render a normal human's mind like nerd, like turn you into a bumbling fool, just because the comprehension of what you're staring at is so incomprehensible.
He's seen some things.
He's seen some things. So he can kind of manage it, but I'm still going to need you to give me a logic check.
Logic check?
To be able to comprehend and compute and understand everything that's going in. And I'll give you an edge on this.
A logic check or logic defense?
No, this will be a logic check. You're going to aim for the target number 14, and you'll have an edge on this because of your sorcery powers and your training in mystic arts and understanding that most can't comprehend.
Logic check.
Okay. Here we go.
Come on, dice, be nice.
Target number 14, how do you do?
Not well. Not well at all. I've got a total of 13. So, but I haven't rolled my edge.
Yes, you have an edge.
My edge. So here we go. Come on, dice, be nice.
No, what do you do?
We got one higher.
So that gives you 14, right?
3 is 14.
Oh, yeah, 14. 14 target number, target number 14.
Target number 14, all right.
Did it. Okay. You didn't
got
get
there.
Congratulations. You can.
Almost.
It was hard, yeah, and
I almost went mad.
Yeah. You almost trip, you almost stumble, and you can see Stephen Strange's actual corporeal body kind of wince and flinch a little bit and kind of twitch as this information is downloading through him. But you see inside this portal an almost vast, empty space that just goes on for infinity, for almost eternity. And it's almost hard to comprehend seeing something that will just go on forever. But within this Nexus space, you do see other portals in the distance, some closer, some far away, like the glinting little stars. Many thousands, almost hundreds of thousands of all these portals linking to other multiverses and other versions of this Dormammu in his astral form, either going to these portals or exiting from the portal, having completed their task. There are many different versions of Dormammu at many different multiverses doing this task
simultaneously,
many times over. Simultaneously, yes.
At the same time.
Yes.
But
that's what you see in the periphery and around. What you see in the center of this nexus is this massive, multifaceted crystal. This crystal that roughly forms the shape of an egg. And you get the sense, without even really knowing how you're getting this sense, that inside this egg there is a power beyond comprehension. And this entity briefly forms in your mind, and this flash of a flaming head or mask emerges, grinning and smiling as if like, yes, I've done it. I've become this powerful being and there's nothing you can do to stop me, Stephen Strange. So you can tell that the true Dormammu, the powerful Dormammu, this multi-dimensional Dormammu, seems to be residing inside this crystal egg. And the tendrils that are emerging from this portal into your world, you can slowly trace back. It's faint, it's very wispy, but the trail leads to this egg as well. And you can kind of see like as if what these tendrils are hooking into or grabbing and taking from this multiverse is being channeled and siphoned into this egg, empowering who's ever inside, which you believe to be the true Dormammu that is sending out these astral forms of himself to other multiverses to siphon power from these multiverses and power himself. But what ends still remain a mystery, but that's what you gaze upon, and that's what you glean from looking inside this portal.
But none of that tells me how to shut it down.
Well, in order to shut it down, by reading the runes on the floor of this portal, you understand that it will take a ritual to complete. Something that you can, once fully read, you can understand that, okay, to reverse it would just do the opposite of what he's doing now. All right, I can do that. I'm Stephen Strange. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. So it's going to take. So it's going to take another on your next turn, because unfortunately it took us an action to get here. On your next turn, you will be able to do another ego check to kind of do like the reverse ritual to close and seal this portal. At least try to, anyways.
But Dormammu
is in the process of trying to complete this run. Yes. So we'll see what happens.
But at the same time, Dormammu could reach out and touch. Let's just say the astral form of Stephen Strange too. Like, can they interact with each other?
Yeah, if he so chooses. It depends on which way he's going to. Does Dormammu try to focus on opening the portal, or does he want to dispatch this gnat?
Wondering how much movement do I have in my astral form? Do I want to be right beside Dormammu? I don't.
There wouldn't be anywhere you could go that he couldn't chase you down if he wanted to.
No, that's true. That's true.
So that was a lot of exposition.
That was a lot.
Let's move on to She-Hulk. What's She-Hulk going to do?
She-Hulk's going to be like, she basically wants to say, I have all these degrees, and I'm not going to be regulated a babysitter.
Nice.
Yeah, so she's taking a look around, making sure that nothing's really going to be hurting him, but just to be safe, she's probably going to pick up Strange, maybe sort of put him in the back end of the dumpster to make sure nothing can really sort of get at him at the moment.
Right. Okay. By back end, we'll represent
sort of
him just being on top, just so we can still track him on camera.
I really hope this doesn't smell, and I do apologize, but
so just
I'm no babysitter, clearly. And and then she's going to go through the portal.
Okay, so she goes through as well.
Yep, and she's going to find out if she can cast a spell called Smash on that portal.
I'm just going to put her on this.
Well, I mean, first of all,
camera kindness.
Can she see Dormammu? And can she see?
No,
Can she
she
see
can't see
Strange?
forms.
He can project himself like a ghost form, though. If
Okay,
he's
well,
of a
Stephen
high
Strange,
enough rank.
fair enough. Yeah, Stephen Strange is allowing himself to be seen by.
Yeah, I would think
Okay,
so.
then
I
yeah.
would think so.
Then he can't.
But she
be
can't.
seen by
She
her.
still can't see Dormammu.
No.
Okay. So she's gonna look up at Strange weirdly. But I think he's just getting shocked by not shocked, but he's still absorbed by the images that he's seen through the portal. So maybe he's just she looks at him as he's staring there, kind of like contemplating what he's perceiving through that portal. And then she's just gonna go up to the portal and take a look at it and see what pushing it over forcefully might do.
I cast Smash.
I cast Smash, exactly.
All right, yeah, let's give it.
Hocus pocus, skibbity doo.
Yeah. This has got some threshold amount of damage you need to do, be able to crack through it. Similar to how Juggernaut has the Princess Bands of that armor that he has on, so you'd have to break through at least 30 points to injure him. In this case, we're going to have to get through at least 40 points of damage to injure this
Can
structure.
she get angry?
Yes, but I think it costs an action to get angry, right?
Maybe she'll get angry next turn. Okay. All right, so she's working up her anger.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So she's gonna, like you said, gonna try to hit this thing. See what happens.
Yeah, it's not hard to hit necessarily. I should say that it's like number 12. Yeah.
She's gonna use Smash, which
An edge.
just to get that edge. Yeah. I know. I'm just thinking like there's no help teammate, but he can't add whatever. Okay. Well, we got a 6. 6s are always good. And we got a 3 and a 1, so we're looking at 10 plus stuff.
Yeah, no, you hit.
That'll hit.
Yeah.
So we got the edge, so we are going to
Go Marvel
Fishing. No, just back to a 6 again.
6 is pretty high. There's
not
no
bad.
damage reduction or anything like that, so all you need to do is get over 40 points of damage for this damage to go through.
Well, she did. How much focus does she have? Because she can pump focus into it. She can do another 20 points. It's going to leave her very low on focus. So that'll pump another 10 points into this. What did we get? 6 times 8? 48 plus 5 is 53 plus 10, so 63.
Nice. 63 does go through, yeah.
Points of smash.
So that is enough damage that when she hits this thing, she actually does crack the stone around the portal, and the portal kind of flinches and flares just a little bit, and that definitely gets Dormammu's attention. She can't see that, but Strange can, and he just snaps his eyes over and his head flares even more, and one of the runes, one of the glyphs actually winks out. So his progress was actually pulled back a little bit, and he lost some progression there with that mighty smash that She-Hulk put into this thing.
So 2 things. 1, Stephen Strange is going to now notice She-Hulk and what she's doing and become very concerned. 2, She-Hulk's going to be like, ha, look at me, physical supreme.
Physical supreme, I love that. Unfortunately, this causes another reaction to an elemental reaction of sorts. There are defensive wards set up to this sort of thing. So if this
of course there.
portal was to take any damage, another portal would open up. And
Inside?
Inside this barrier that is still being maintained for whatever reasons. And out comes another demon from said dark dimension.
Nice demon?
Yes, a nice demon, a friendly demon.
Yeah. Let's use our
A
words.
demon of tickles. Yes, and eyes the being that did damage, and so is now eyeing down the She-Hulk. So that brings us to Dormammu, angered by these intrusions and losing his work that he's been casting and doing this ritual for, this glyph being destroyed, knowing he has to repair it now, has angered Dormammu. Attacks against She-Hulk right now may not will be left to other devices, but he will take out his ire and frustration on Stephen Strange, Dr. Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, and he's going to use his signature attack. Well, not really signature attack, but the attack that represents him probably the best will be Flames the Faultine. So we will make an ego check against the agility defense of Stephen Strange. So. Marvel on the Marvel die, but 2 1s. 8 plus its ego, right? So that's a 17. So I think we
17 will hit, yeah.
In astral form, when these 2 sorcerers are attacking each other, they can only inflict this type of damage, and by damage I mean focus damage, to each other while in astral form. So 2 people in astral form can actually duel it out in this astral plane. But all physical damage that they would take, which actually is actually going to be focus damage. So
But it's still
whenever-
doubled, and it's still bad. So I'm still burning a karma point to make you reroll that marvel.
Fair enough. Okay, so reroll the marvel into a marvel.
Okay, reaction, Shield of Seraphim.
There it is. Yeah, put that shield up. He's got resistance, so we bring our ego down to a 9. 63 times 2. Can you take 126 focus damage?
Minus 20.
Right, minus 20.
106.
Yeah.
He's still there.
Oh gosh, thank you.
But it's not a lot.
Oh geez. So any focus he would use now could send him back to his body.
Mm-hmm.
The flames on the palms of his hands burn like a purpley pink, and he just kind of launches multiple attacks, one after another, and just beating it against the
Shield of the Seraphim.
the body
And
of Stephen Strange in astral form. And
Even still.
doesn't feel the pain, but he feels the revulsion of his connection to his astral body, and the physical body of Stephen Strange kind of flinches and flicks back and forth and just kind of feels like almost a disconnect with his soul almost. But he holds on. I believe he still has focus left.
Not much,
Yeah.
but he's
He still
there.
manages to maintain
still there.
his astral projection and stays in astral form to continue the fight. He can tell that this portal is close to being closed because there's only one active rune right now.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that is Dormammu's turn. It does unfortunately bring us to this beastly monster here. He's going to make an attack real quick at She-Hulk with his attack. That is a 16 plus thing. I think that will get through here.
That'll
Physical?
hit. That'll hit.
Okay.
I don't know if she's
So
got a
she has
reaction.
actually his claws that are put through and tries to rake her with these claws,
Yeah.
try to break her skin. It was a 6 on the marble die, unfortunately. So damage reduction 2.
Yep.
So it'll be 18 points of sharp claw damage comes at the top of his hands, much like Wolverine slices at her.
Yikes. Yeah, she took that. She didn't like it, and she's gonna have to make an ego check.
Right, see if she doesn't
See
go
if she goes
berserk.
berserk. Gosh darn it.
Let's do that. And it's equal to the damage she takes, so 18. Target number? No? Well, at least she gets to, she has edges under attack now, and she gets to increase her defense.
Yay.
But she can only attack this beast, which
Yeah.
basically is the only thing you can
means
do
you
right
can't
now.
really. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So at the end of the round, these tendrils that are emanating and protruding through the portal to form this fog above and all around seem to almost solidify a little bit for a second here. And the electricity inside of them, the lightning that's kind of surging around these tendrils intensify and start looking for a target as they whip out and around trying to defend this portal. And the target they seem to be holding on is the target they seem to be the most threatening, which of course She-Hulk
Is
was the one that did,
Dormammu.
yeah, it's Dormammu. She-Hulk was the one that did the most damage to the portal at this point. So I think the tendrils are going to actually go after the one who inflicted damage upon them. So they're going to go after She-Hulk. So we are going to make an ego attack. It will be an ego check against the target's vigilance defense. I think it's pretty good for...
I mean, it's not the worst, but if you can roll really bad, that'd be great.
Well, I did an inverse Ultimate Fantastic, 1-6-1. 6 on the marble die, 1 and 1.
6 on the marble die.
Yes, an 8 plus 9.
Yeah, well, that's
So
gonna hit.
That hits?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's gonna hit.
Well, it was a 6 on the marble die, and damage reduction -2.
Yeah,
So
for physical.
that brings it down to an 8. And 8 times 6 is 48. 48 plus 9 is 57. Yes. How much?
She's on 1 health point.
Oh, no. One health point.
Assuming I've been doing math
Tendril
correctly.
just smashes right into and kind of electrocutes her as it's going to wrap around her and then comes back into the portal a little bit and then back up into the sky again to start absorbing energy from this multiverse. Leaving her with 1 health point, you said, left?
Freaking health. Yeah,
Oh,
one
she's still
health
standing.
point in a dream.
She's still standing, but she is not doing well. She is not happy. She is...
Well, she's enraged.
She's definitely
She's
enraged.
definitely going to be angry now.
Oh, yeah, no, I still broke it because I think you're...
She can use anger as a reaction.
Yes,
She can become angry now.
but I think she would be.
She's pretty darn angry. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so we're gonna hit anger. 10 is the base, and then I'm gonna pump 10 more into it, so I'm gonna get 30 to my melee damage.
Perfect. But I think your intelligence goes down by 2 too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so all your melee attacks at this point now will cause an extra 30 points of damage.
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. So that, I believe, brings us back to Dr. Stephen Strange.
In his astral form.
In his astral form.
Yeah, he just took an absolute blast from Dormammu with a shield of Seraphim that came up and then instantly was incinerated by this angry, extremely powerful blast from Dormammu. And he's messed with Dormammu before. He knows that this is a very powerful version of Dormammu. One that he may regret to admit to himself begrudgingly that he may not be able to take on at this particular moment. So seeing that, he's going to look towards the portal. He saw She-Hulk smash the portal and one of the runes went out. So he sees that there's one left?
Correct.
And okay, I'm assuming Doctor Strange would recognize that taking out that last rune would close the portal.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And
knowing that,
all of this.
and knowing that, he's going to bypass or move around or however he can get to wherever he needs to interact with that ruin and do his absolute best to try to undo this portal.
Awesome. From his current position right here, actually, he's within the vicinity. So all he needs to do is an ego check based on mystic abilities. The target number will be 18. Should be easy for Strange. And if successful, because there's only one rune lit at this point in time, you will be able to, close this portal and stop all these tendrils from entering into this multiversal dimension.
Let's hope.
And end this tyranny of Dormammu, this multiversal Dormammu for the time.
Let's hope. I mean, this is what we're playing for.
You do also know, I should add, that this ritual that you understand, that you've read from these runes in there, that closing this portal is a permanent effect to this multiverse. If he can close this, will close this portal access from this multiverse to this nexus and from the nexus.
But other multiverses may still be in jeopardy.
Other multiverses do seem to be in jeopardy, yes.
Oh, I wonder if he can send a message out to other Stephen Stranges from other multiverses to do the same thing.
Let's see if we can end this threat
first. Multiverse, Stephen Strange, unite, assemble.
Let's do this.
Come on, dice, be nice. Okay, do I get it? You said there's something about an edge?
Did I? I don't remember wrenching edges.
Wasn't there something about an edge?
But I think,
all right, but I think we've got 3, 3, and 5, so we have a total of 11, and it's an ego check.
Yeah, it's an
so we're adding 12 to that, so we smashed it with a 23.
That beats the target number of 18 easily, yes.
All right.
So Stephen Strange, you take me through this. How do we close this portal, Stephen Strange?
Well, Stephen Strange, knowing all things magic, because he's the Sorcerer Supreme and Master of Mystical Arts, is going to then tap in every bit of his focus and energy and concentration on this ruin. And he's seen Dormammu. He's seen many versions of Dormammu working this ruin to try to open them. He knows that he can undo what Dormammu has done in effortless time, hopefully. But he gets the sense that it requires more energy and power to keep it open rather than to shut it down.
I should mention, this ritual will cost you 20 focus to perform. I did forget to mention that. Yeah. Do you have at least that 20 focus to perform this ritual?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I did forget to mention that. Because this does cost you essence from yourself to kind of close it. It is taxing in astral form to perform this ritual.
Okay.
And you have to give some of your energy to close this thing. Yeah.
With the last vestiges of his power, he calls upon the power of the Vishanti and all of his knowledge and all of the Stephen Stranges from all the multiverses that he can tap into, the memories of all of the Stephen Strange that he's absorbed. And he focuses all of his focus and energy into undoing this last ruin as cutting off the energy or focus or whatever he has to do to snuff it out. And as he does that, goes from here.
Awesome. So as the portal does close, Dormammu yells, "You pesky nerds!" And the connection to the astral form of Dormammu severs, and it kind of gets sucked through as the portal is closing. Same with all the tendrils that kind of get cut off and rapidly sucked through, but the rest of it doesn't get sucked through in time, gets cut off and kind of dissipates and kind of evaporates into the air around. The Nexus portals kind of disappear and evaporate as well too, just in ash and just kind of like float away up into the sky and to dissolve into tiny particles and molecules. obviously this demon, he'll just be like, yeah, peace out, and jump back through the portal as the portal closes as well too. We're just going to get rid of this problem. And there we have
You've
it.
seen a very angry Gamma gal coming at him, and he just decided it was better to follow his master. Did the astral form of Strange feel the pull and tug as in his?
No, we wouldn't be pulling him in from this side, but unless he feels like he wants to, well, actually I don't even think his astral form would survive on that side very long, but it'd be interesting to see if he would get trapped there. Let's not attempt that.
No, I was just wondering if everything else from the astral, like this Dormammu.
No, it's not sucking things from the astral form. It is just it's the connection, because Dormammu is on the outside of the portal. The connection that he had to his
I see. Okay.
astral form
in this area
ended. Yes. Congratulations, closing the portal. That does mean that the rifts and everything that was happening around here does end. Things return back to normal as the fog lifts and fades away and evaporates and just dissipates into the atmosphere around. The memories that they had, they will find will fade with time, like a dream, waking up from a dream. Memories kind of dissipate from the dream memories and dissipate rather pretty quickly. So much like the memories from your multiversal counterparts, they too dissipate. So unfortunately, the traits are gone. Not you. I know they came in so handy.
You can take them back.
Congratulations on ending that multiversal threat. And Dormammu curses you from that egg inside, but does not sweat the small stuff because he has so many other multiverses to absorb and steal power from and get him stronger and strengthen himself.
We'll see.
So that, he will be unstoppable and more powerful than any creature or being out there.
We'll see. At this point, I think the astral form of Stephen Strange will go back into his regular body and
come crawling
out of the back of the garbage.
Come on.
Really? Now,
was that necessary?
Was that really necessary? Honestly. And then I'm hoping that the rage and maybe the anger that she just went into maybe in some way sort of broke the berserkness that she was feeling, but she is on the last on her last knee with only having one hit point left. My goodness.
That's crazy. Yeah. She needs some medical attention probably. Does she know a good doctor, you think?
I could recommend a surgeon.
All right.
Through the sensational heroics of She-Hulk and the mystical might of Doctor Strange, their multiverse has been spared from the sinister machinations of a Dormammu that has seemingly obtained unfathomable power and yet still seeks more. With countless other multiverses still in jeopardy, Dr. Stephen Vincent Strange can't help but wonder what he alone could do to help. But of course, he's not alone. Other multiverses are out there, each with their own heroes ready to play their part. All they need is someone to guide them.
And that is it for this encounter, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw here today, please smash that like and subscribe button. And until the next time, keep rolling those dice and unleashing the power of the multiverse. We'll see you in the next one.
The part that gets me is that he didn't even ask my side of the story. He just opened up a portal to some barren, far-off planet and had She-Hulk literally toss me through it. Girl, preach. Let me tell you about this guy named Reed Richards.